when the loudness was there tonight.
That was certainly the case this evening as Hampden joined together to unite in the national anthem, which may be the last time it is sung before Scotland get to a World Cup. They have the safety net of the playoff. They do not want to use it. They want the victory this evening that will ensure they book their place in Canada, Mexico and the USA. The two teams just come together for their photographs before making their way and breaking away as Scotland do now. Grant Hanley into the starting lineup, a very, very late change. John Souttar, the man who misses out. We will get more information on that, but Hanley comes with bags of experience to take his place in that back line. So let me run you through the Scotland starting 11. In goal, 42-year-old Craig Gordon, who is the one man amongst this Scotland squad who remembers Scotland playing at the World Cup in France in 1998. In front of him, a back four of Andy Robertson making his 90th cap this evening. Scott McKenna, Grant Hanley and Aaron Hickey. Ryan Christie, Lewis Ferguson in that midfield too, with John McGinn, Scott McTominay and Ben Gannon-Doak providing the support to Lyndon Dykes, who starts for the first time since his start against Denmark in the opening game of this World Cup qualifying campaign. He is preferred to Shay Adams in the forward line. Scotland in their all blue kits with the white stripes down the shoulders, down the sides of the shorts and the blue socks. We'll be playing from our right to left. Denmark, red shirts, white shorts, red socks in their huddle. They break away now. In goal for them, Celtic goalkeeper, very familiar with these parts, Kasper Schmeichel. A back four of Patrick Dorgu, Joachim Andersen, Andreas Christensen and Rasmus Christensen. Pierre-Emil Højbjerg, the captain, alongside Morten Hjulmand in midfield. Mikael Damsgaard, Victor Froholt, Gustav Isaksen will provide the support to the well again Rasmus Højlund, and we are underway at Hampden Park, and a very early free kick to Scotland right on the edge of the centre circle. And Pat, this is where we will see whether there are nerves these opening 5 minutes or so.
Well, the first touch by Aaron Hickey wasn't a great one, so there will be a little bit with some of the players, but it's not something to panic about. Interesting, the way Scotland tried to start, it was the old rugby start, wasn't it? Trying to get it wide.
I know, and I almost think we got a foul against us. It didn't really do us any favours, did it? Or a foul for us, sorry.
So it will be a throw in to Scotland, midway between the halfway line and the edge of the penalty area. The smoke lingering in the air from the pre-match fireworks, but the entertainment from that is over. It is now about the 22 players on the pitch who both have ambitions of qualifying for a World Cup. For Denmark, they just need a point. For Scotland, they need a win. Otherwise, it will be the unpredictable route of the playoffs. It can be guaranteed this evening for both of these two nations. Ball going out on the far side. Patrick Dorgu, the Manchester United fullback, with the throw-in, headed forward. A first touch for Lyndon Dykes. He controls it well and holds off the challenge of Hjulmand. John McGinn on this left-hand side launches it over the top to Andy Robertson. He's not going to get there though. It is a slick surface this evening. It took a little nick off the top of the surface, out for a goal kick. So let's get an update from Wales against North Macedonia with Owain Gwynedd.
Yeah, 2 minutes gone here, 0-0, but Wales have come close. Wales winning the ball on the halfway line. Brennan Johnson driving in the box. The ball flicks up and hooked wide by David Brooks over the bar. So 0-0, 2 minutes gone.
Goal is there, goal is here at Hampden Park in the opening couple of minutes, as there's a first touch for Scott McKenna, bringing it out of defence, looking for a ball down the line, which Gannon-Doak tries to put pressure on Dorgu. Dorgu goes down, no free kick given. Ball goes back to Kasper Schmeichel, who's getting a warm welcome from the Glasgow, well, the Scotland crowd this evening. One back by Scotland. McTominay battling with Højbjerg. Christie picks it up. Good shoulder to shoulder challenge, which Christie comes out on top of, and now it's Gannon-Doak, right hand side trying to get the cross in, charged down by Højbjerg, but gets it back. Right side of the penalty area, lovely little ball in by Christie to Hickey. Christie gets it back inside the penalty area. He's got red shirts all around him. It pops up. There's a bit of a hopeful shout for a handball. Scotland win it back again though. Gannon Doak right into the penalty area, chops it onto that left foot. Crossed in, overhead kick. That is sensational from Scott McTominay. The ball in from Ben Gannon Doak. The roar around Hampden Park as Scott McTominay with a sensational overhead kick flies into the bottom right hand corner. He has come over to the crowd. He is gesturing to the crowd. He is celebrating. And Steve Clarke is telling him to calm down. But Pat Nevin, what a goal!
Yeah, good luck coming down after that. Well, what an incredible start, but what an incredible goal. You're talking Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, Gareth Bale in the past as well. What a phenomenal. He has been amazing for Scotland. But the way Scotland pressed really high there, they wanted a good start. I was saying, please don't start slowly or badly. Well, listen to that one, haven't they? Wow, what a goal.
Oh my goodness, Rachel Corsie, we heard the supporter saying he'd take something off a backside. That's top drawer, that is world class.
That's honestly incredible. That is the best goal I've ever seen live, I think. And to score it in a match that means this much, what a start.
Unbelievable. Scotland 1, Denmark 0, and the roars go up as a sliding challenge comes in from Grant Hanley to knock it out for a Denmark throw-in. I think we all hoped for a good start, Pat, but I don't think anybody in their wildest dreams would have thought of that start.
No, you couldn't dream of that. That's amazing. Rachel saying that the best goal I ever saw live was Cristiano Ronaldo, was his overhead kick when he scored for Madrid against Juventus. But that was absolutely up there, and everyone has to calm down a little bit for the Scotland team. What the good thing about it is this crowd, which was nervy beforehand. What about the buzz? I've just looked over at Steve Crossman. His mouth is still wide open.
My Apple Watch is telling me and asking me if I'm exercising. My heart rate has gone through the roof. But now Denmark come forward on the attack down this right hand side with Isaacson. It's overrun though, it is out. It's going to be a goal kick for Scotland, but he is a threat on this right hand side, and he almost fell over the ball there under the pressure from Andy Robertson. But this is an important period for Scotland.
Early moments of it, I often look at the referee in the first 3, 4, 5 minutes. He's let a few challenges go. You know, he's not blowing his whistle at every coming together of players. There are certain international referees, if someone lands on the ground, they blow the whistle, no matter what. Well, I think there's a bit of a dive there, and he's just not falling for it for a second. And on top of that, when Scotland, the lead up to the goal, there was a few strong challenges, and they just let it go. Not fouls, just strong challenges.
Robertson goes long looking for Dykes. It is Christensen that wins the header, but it's beautifully sprayed out to the right hand side for Gannon Doak to run once again at Dorgu. He's kept onto the ball, he's skipped through, he's onto the byline, into the penalty area. His ball across is cleared, but Ben Gannon Doak is giving Patrick Dorgu a torrid time at the moment.
Yeah, and we spoke about him before the game, and we just said, you know, young players, sometimes you see his little flashes. We've not seen loads. So far in these first 6 minutes, he's been remarkably good, and I just hope he can keep that up. And he's the sort of player I think he'll grow from this. He's had a chance twice to get at Dorgu. He's got the better of him. We need to get him the ball.
Christie under pressure tries to lay it off for Hickey, but Denmark win it. They're now driving forward inside their own half, forced backwards by the Scotland press, but they work it out well to this right hand side with Christensen, the fullback. Spent time at Leeds United. Lovely ball through the lines, and Højlund is clear. He's into the area. He's just got Gordon to beat, and Gordon sticks out a leg. And now the flag goes up for offside. It wouldn't have counted, but what a great save from Craig Gordon to settle any possible nerves.
You know, last week everyone's saying Craig Gordon, 42, not playing regularly for his team. He was the man of the match in Greece. There was one minor mistake, but he saved Scotland time and again. And he's just shown he is phenomenal, made his body big there. And yeah, the call for offside, but I'll tell you what, it was close. I think it probably was maybe a shoulder.
Just a lean, isn't it?
It was very, very tight, but Højlund was free there, and Craig Gordon was equal to it. He didn't know that the flag was going to go up. So free kick to Scotland inside their own half, and Robertson launches it towards Ben Gannon-Doak. That might happen quite a lot given the start he's had against Dorgu. Hickey now battling, wins the throw in midway between the halfway line and the penalty area on that right hand side. Denmark, they know they are in a game for sure. Scott McTominay's sensational overhead kick has given Scotland the lead, and as things stand, Scotland are going to the World Cup and Denmark will have to settle for a playoff place. But there is just 8 minutes on the clock, a lot can happen. But Hampden has an electric atmosphere as Gannon-Doak again takes on Dorgu. This time Dorgu does well though and is able to shield the ball out for a goal kick. But every time Ben Gannon-Doak gets the ball, you feel a little fizz of excitement around the stadium.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, look, he's got an assist to his name already, so he's done his job. We want to get the ball to him. What is very interesting as well, him and Hickey seem to have got an understanding really early on. If we've watched Scotland for so long, watching the left-hand side being the real danger area, with Robertson, and Tierney were out there as well, but now Scotland are more balanced. They've got attacking threats on both sides.
They certainly do. Ben Gannon-Doak got his first international goal on Saturday to start that comeback against Greece. A comeback that didn't quite make it all the way, but Belarus, doing Scotland a favour in Denmark, kept it alive to this final group game. A draw for Denmark enough, a win for Scotland required. So far, Steve Clarke's men are doing their job, but Denmark on the ball into Scotland's half, and Lyndon Dykes sticks a foot in, and then Christensen pulls down McGinn, and it is a yellow card to the Danish fullback.
It's actually incredible what you tend to see. If a panic there, an absolute panic, giving yourself a yellow card if you're a defender that early on. And by the way, it's an absolute definite yellow card. It's not a question mark. You just dragged him back.
Yeah, it was actually Joachim Andersen who'd come into that right back position who got the yellow card, who pulled down John McGinn. He missed the Belarus game through illness, the Fulham captain, as Scotland tried to work it on this left-hand side. Robertson gets on the end of it, but just unable to guide the loose ball to John McGinn. And it will go out for a Denmark throw-in, but it's right deep in their half.
Sometimes these games can be tentative, but when you get an early goal like that, that's just not going to happen, because it's a cup game, and it is, as we say, a winner-takes-all game. And just watching, I think it is a wee bit shell-shocked by that, but they'll get composure again soon. I don't think it's going to end up 1-0, do you?
Every tackle, every challenge gets a roar from the Hampden Park crowd. That was Scott McTominay going in on a loose ball. So Denmark winning the throw-in again deep in their own half, and Christensen knocks it up the line. It's won by a Scotland head, which Dykes will try and avoid going out for a goal kick, just not able to. The freshly shaved head of Lyndon Dykes, which he might regret given the temperature in Glasgow here this evening. He is leading the line for Scotland, the Birmingham striker, who scored against Greece in the win here at Hampden. Scotland again trying to launch an attack, and McTominay just unable to win it against Andersen, who does well, and it's now knocked forward. It's a foot race with McKenna and Hoyland, but McKenna will win that, shepherd it out for a Scotland throw-in. And you'd have to say, Rachel, at the moment, it's going Scotland's way.
Yeah, it is, and I did feel it would be important to try and spend spells in their half and early on in the game, because you want to try and make them feel the weight of the fans, which is what they can feel. The other thing, I think a lot of their best players, they like it nice and technical, and if we give them the opportunity, they'll be very good. What we're very good at, though, is being very competitive, getting stuck in, flying into tackles, making it a little difficult even though at times we're maybe giving away throw-ins, it's lively and busy and pinball and difficult to get your foot in the ball, and I think that suits us for now a bit more than it does them.
Yes, Denmark certainly do have dangerous players, but so far they have not been able to impact the game. It has been Scotland who have enjoyed the opening 12 minutes of this encounter and have put themselves ahead through a wonder goal from Scott McTominay.
We always look upon it from Scotland point of view, understandably. But for the Danes, obviously they need to attack now. But what a nightmare if they do that too much and Scotland break and score another goal. So they have to be really intelligent, really sensible about this at this point in time.
It was interesting, Oliver Norgard, the Arsenal midfielder, speaking after the Belarus game, talking about how there was a fear of losing the game as Ben Gannon-Doak skips past Patrick Dorgu again, but Christensen is there to just knock it back to Schmeichel, who gets that rather familiar chorus of boos around the stadium. He has been here a number of times before. He won the League Cup at Hampden Park, but he did have a big mistake in the Scottish Cup final last season as Aberdeen beat Celtic, denied them a domestic treble. Scotland fans will no doubt want to remind him of that as the evening goes on. Ball comes in to this right hand side. Everson trying to get it on his left foot, drops it back. The shot from outside the area from Pierre-Emile Højbjerg goes flying over Craig Gordon's bar, harmlessly away. And Denmark at the moment, like you say, Pat, they look a little bit shell-shocked. They look like they're struggling, and you can see Højbjerg trying to direct the players, trying to instill some sort of calmness back into the side, because we know this is a very, very good team.
One of the things that beforehand, I was delighted to see Christian Eriksen not playing, because he can control games and do that. They've not shown any player so far that's able to do that for the team. Where it is, early moments, Rachel's right, you want to keep that, sharpness about the game. Hampden Park's a big pitch. It's going to be hard to do that for 90 minutes, so there are going to be periods where you're going to have to dig in and hold and maybe defend a little bit as well. Just one player, the battle between Dorgu and Gannon-Doak is absolutely brilliant so far. Dorgu's flying forward whenever he can. I think he just doesn't want Mark Gannon-Doak if he can possibly help it, but Gannon-Doak's not having to stay back, which is chase him back as much. So that's a brave thing for Stevie Clarke to ask him to do.
Yeah, Patrick Dorgu, he's been in and out a little bit in terms of the national team, as he has at club level as well, but the injury to Mila has given him an opportunity to get some game time, and he's got the plaudits from his manager. Now a chance for Mikkel Damsgaard, and there's lots of space on that right hand side, Denmark's left hand side, for Dorgu, who's got the overlap from Højlund. Ball across, and it was flashed across the face of goal, and there wasn't a red shirt there to knock it past Craig Gordon. What an opportunity, still alive through Everson. Cross comes in, the header from Højlund, and it's bobbled around and into the hands of Craig Gordon. Højlund is in a heap on the ground, but that's a flash from Denmark.
Do you mention just seconds ago about Dorgu, the fact that Gannon-Doak isn't chasing him back there? Well, it nearly cost us. Now it's immediately looked down to Stevie Clarke to see, have you said to Gannon-Doak not to chase back, or is he just not chasing back?
And that's going to be the rest of it. They'll go cat and mouse a little bit,
yeah.
But
opportunity again for Denmark. Shot comes in from Froholt. It's taken a deflection. A great block from McKenna as it flew over the top of the crossbar, but off the Scotland centre half. So a corner for Denmark, and he is a real danger man, Victor Froholt, the 19-year-old. A lot of clubs watching him. Made a €20 million move in the summer to Porto, where he's already scored twice this season. The youngster, corner comes in, left-footed, but doesn't get past Andy Robertson at the front post. It has fallen though to Dorgu, who's now got Damsgaard on this right-hand side. Lovely little pass in, and the turn, but it's blocked. Scotland players all around Froholt. He wasn't able to get a clean shot away or find a player. And it was Lyndon Dykes who was all the way back there doing the defensive duties. Gannon-Doak trying to flip past Dorgu again, but stands firm this time, the fullback, and Denmark back on the ball, and they've begun to get a little bit of a foothold in this game. Damsgaard's got Dorgu outside him, level with the left-hand edge of the penalty area. Damsgaard again, back to Højbjerg. Denmark building down this left-hand side. There is a penalty in Wales as Dorgu crosses the ball in. Hickey's going to get that and clear it. So let's head to Owain Gwynedd.
Harry Wilson scores for Wales, plants it in the bottom right-hand corner. Dimitrievski dives to the left, doesn't get there, and Wales are ahead. Wales 1, North Macedonia 0, and that for the time being puts Wales into second place in the group. Wales 1, North Macedonia 0.
A goal for the captain this evening gives Wales the advantage. They need to win to ensure a playoff spot. They already have a playoff through the Nations League, but a playoff by finishing second in the group would give them a far more favourable draw in terms of trying to qualify for this World Cup. It is Scotland who lead by a 1-0 here as well, but we have a real concern for Ben Gannon-Doak. And Pat, it's never good when a player's holding their hamstring, particularly on a cold night like this.
Particularly on a cold night, particularly early on, particularly if you're a speed merchant. All of those things, tick, tick, tick. Gannon-Doak's gone down, and it is very rare for a player to get back up and play after that. I'm trying to see when it happened. He was finally chasing back there, but he stopped away from the play. It wasn't a tackle, it was nothing like that. They'll try their best with him, and it's one of those ones where even if you could ask him to play another 5 minutes, what if it snaps completely? It's not really worth it. It's a real danger.
He looks pretty upset down there, Richard. It looks like it might be all over for him, and he's had such an impact on this game. Yeah, he's tried to stand up, he's gone straight back down. We can see, I think it's Kenny McLean who's going to get stripped and come on, and that's a real blow for Scotland, but more so for Ben Gannon-Doak, because he'd had a sensational opening 18 minutes. Yeah,
really disappointing for him, because he certainly had, you'd have to say, the better of Dorgu in the attacking sense. Dorgu's starting to cause problems in the other half too now, but yeah, you can tell by his reaction, he looks devastated, and you know as a player, and you have that little moment as we saw him try to stand up, where you have a few seconds of optimism, you think, oh, maybe it's not as bad as I thought, but your instinct knows, and you see him now, he's got his hands across his head, and he's lying, flat out in the grass, and he's going to have to come off, and it's going to be bad enough. He's going to likely miss a few weeks at least with a muscle type injury, but you hope it's not worse than that, because as Pat said, fast players are prone to those types of injuries, and they can be nasty.
A, they're nasty, but the B is very, very important. You don't want to lose your pace if you're a player like Ben Gannon-Doak, because exactly. You rely on it so much, and sometimes, anyway, that's far ahead in the future. He's had a great start. They'll take him off now. They will not take any chances with him. One good thing for Scotland now, they'll make a change, and yes, Scotland are going to miss him, but Kenny McLean will probably come on for that, which gives you a little bit of chance to, you can move Christie a wee bit further forward. McGinn slightly adapts his position as well. It's not as if Scotland can't play or nothing really to bring on. They've nothing similar to bring on, but they can still play in a style with a group that they know.
Yeah, a real blow to Scotland to lose Ben Gannon-Doak as he's making his way off. Let's get back to Wales. There's been another goal, Owain Gwyneth.
Wales have doubled their lead. David Brooks makes it 2-0. 2 minutes after Harry Wilson, the captain, put Wales ahead. Break down the left. Brennan Johnson with the cross. Brooks with the finish. Deflected finish to the top corner. Wales now 2-0 up and in complete control here at the Cardiff City Stadium.
So Wales in complete control. Scotland, they have their noses in front. Scott McTominay with a quite sensational overhead kick. Watch it back. The game is being broadcast on the BBC Scotland channel, on BBC Two, on the iPlayer, online as well. So you'll be able to see that goal in all its glory as Kenny McLean comes on the field of play, the Norwich captain, to replace Ben Gannon-Doak. And it's not like for like as Denmark come forward to Isaacson on this right hand side, trying to take on Andy Robertson, gets it back onto his left foot, drops it for Christensen, ball in, headed clear by McKenna. Dorgu will look to pick that up, and it's now Ryan Christie who's going over to press the Danish left back. Does well, Christie, stops him momentarily in his tracks, but Denmark keep hold of position. Christensen gets the little 1-2 with Hjulmand. Denmark recycling the ball deep and looking to build from the back. Hoyland, out to Isaacson, now into the penalty area, trying to cut it onto that right foot, but across comes Scott McKenna to block the cross. It falls to Danish feet just outside the area, lofted in, it's fallen to the back post, and Denmark are level, and it is Rasmus Hoyland, but it's a free kick to Scotland. There was a push in the back from the Napoli striker, and Scotland get the free kick. His hands are on his head. Craig call, Pat Niven?
I'd say nudge more than push. It wasn't a huge amount to it, yeah. And the referee was quite quick to it. The way I think his Hickey moved forward, I think Scotland got very, very lucky there. Very lucky.
I think as well, there is a nut. I think Hickey does really well. He really exaggerates the little touch. There's one over as well. So the ball I don't think was never going to reach that far, but we've got to be careful. We can't have two over at the far post.
Dykes battling with Christensen, but it is the Danish defender who comes off best. So let's get back to Wales. There can't be another goal, Owain Gwynedd.
Well, it's pouring down in rain here, and goals are pouring in as well. Wales 2, North Macedonia 1. Within a minute of conceding a second, North Macedonia through on goal. Bojan Miovski with the strike as Caldow, the keeper, slipped, and Wales conceding. So now Wales 2, North Macedonia 1, 22 minutes gone.
Scotland on the attack, ball in from John McGinn, clutched out of the air by Kasper Schmeichel as Scotland try and launch another attack. So one goal separating the two sides in Wales, one goal separating the two sides here at Hampden Park. Scotland with that lead through Scott McTominay very, very early in the first half. A Scotland victory tonight puts them into the World Cup. Denmark, they need a point or they will be going into the playoffs. They go long looking for the ever willing run of Isaacson in that corner. He's got Andy Robertson, but the ball has gone out of play and Robertson will win it back. And it will be a Scotland throw-in right down next to the corner flag. And Pat, it's all about how Scotland reshuffle after Ben Gannon-Doak going off injured. They don't have that out ball down that right hand side anymore. They don't have that natural pace. They need to find a way.
No, they don't, but Christine is a kind of more mature player and will cover spaces a little bit better, so I don't think there's a panic. And remember, that midfield know each other very, very well, so I don't think there'll be any real discomfort there. What Scotland may well do is maybe favour the left a little bit more, and you'll see a wee bit more of John McGinn getting the ball from here on in. I have one slight concern for Scotland. Robbo here at left back, he's having a tough time against Isaacson. Isaacson's making it very tough for him. He's getting caught a few times.
He's had a good start, and I think as well he's had a lot of times where he's been able to get the ball and get at Andy Robertson. Can we try and also inhibit the service to him?
Yeah, Isaacson plays his football in Serie A for Lazio, the 24-year-old on this right wing for Denmark, who are on the ball once again on the halfway line. Hjulmand.
The problem Scotland have got then, Robbo's probably needing a little bit of help there. McGinn then might get dropped back onto him, but the same happening in the full-back position because Dorgu from the left is going forward, and that is entirely just dragging Scotland further and further back the field.
They have the goal, but they don't want to be defending for the remainder of this match. 25 minutes gone, and it has been the perfect start for Scotland, but Denmark beginning to dominate things, and Isaacson again on the ball, right edge of the penalty area. This time Robbo stands up really strong and wins it from him, tries to find McGinn, but McGinn with two Denmark players around him loses out. Now Damsgaard, right edge of the penalty area, cuts onto that left foot and just manages to nick it away from the challenge from Robertson. So Denmark keep possession. Hjulmand looking for the ball in towards Højlund. It's dropped into the centre of the penalty area, but it's Scotland who get it clear. Only as far though as Dorgu. It is a bit of pressure from the visitors. Højlund, he's got Hanley for company. Højlund manages to win the corner though, and Denmark will keep the pressure on, Rachel.
Yeah, we just need to see out this storm. I think we're suffering a little bit, and I feel we're not really limiting them and where they can go. I think it's okay to be defensive, but you want to try and control certain areas and not let them go certain places. I feel that Denmark are dictating a little too much for me just now.
They have certainly settled into this game after the early shock as the corner comes in. Front post, Robertson, I think it was, got a flick on at the front post, and it went right across the face of Craig Gordon's goal. Nobody there to knock it in, and it will be a Denmark throw-in on the side nearest to us. Or has it gone off? It went off for a corner, so it will be another corner for Denmark. Dangerous ball from the left-hand side. It's now Isaacson over to take it from this right-hand side into a congested penalty area. Left-footed it goes in, goes deep. McTominay's there, but Højlund gets ahead of him, the two former Manchester United men. It goes wide though. It will be a Scotland goal kick, and They're a big side, Denmark. They look quite dangerous from those set pieces.
Yeah, but Scotland are good generally from set pieces as well, offensively and defensively. It's at times like this, you know, when Scotland need to get that foothold that Rachel was suggesting there, and when the likes of a Billy Gilmore would be very, very helpful in a situation like this, where you can get the ball, hold it in midfield, bring your defence up a little bit and get a little bit of traction in that area and get up the field. At the moment, for the last 5 or so minutes, Scotland can't get a hold of it at all.
They're going long to Dykes, but he's not been able to hold it in, as happened there, and it's fallen to Dorgu, who's trying to bring Denmark forward. They're into Scotland's half. Back to Anderson on the halfway line, moves forward. Denmark beginning to enjoy the ball, but as yet haven't really tested Craig Gordon. They had the ball, or he had a big save from Craig Gordon, but Højlund offside, and then they had the ball in the net through Højlund, but a push in the build-up. So Denmark beginning to get on top of things as Dorgu down this left side, edge of the penalty area. Great cross, Højlund, but he's not able to contort his body quite in the right way to direct it towards Craig Gordon's goal. It goes wide, but again, Rachel, it's another warning sign from the visitors.
It is, and we're just struggling. Whenever we win the ball back, we just don't quite have that release pass. Lyndon Dykes 2v1 up front. It's difficult for him, but we need to try and be able to find him and then play off him, because if we can find him, the likes of Christian McGinn will join in, but we're putting ourselves in difficult situations. Højlund should do much better there. McKenna can't quite get back around goal side. Hanley's a little too near the front post, and wicked delivery. I think that's a good opportunity for them, and one will be glad they've missed.
He may have just ventured into an offside position as the ball was played in. It doesn't matter because he missed, but that would have been possibly looked at had the ball hit the net. Denmark taking a free kick too quickly for our Polish referee's liking. Simon Marciniak, the referee this evening. Denmark, lovely pass through the lines to Damsgaard, but Lewis Ferguson was there to win it back and play back to Hickey, who goes back to his goalkeeper. Not sure Craig Gordon wanted that, with Højlund racing towards him, but he's lofted it into the night sky, and it's now a battle between Dykes and Højlund, which it is the midfielder who wins that battle. Denmark retaining possession once again, but they're deep inside their own half with Anderson, who moves forward now. Half an hour gone in this crucial World Cup qualifier. A win for Scotland puts them into a World Cup for the first time for 27 years. Denmark, they need a point. It is Scotland who leads. Scott McTominay with the early goal, but since then Ben Gannon-Doak, who's been very influential, has been forced off with what looks like a hamstring injury. So Scotland have had to reshuffle a little, and now Denmark are beginning to get on top. It is Højbjerg in midfield, looking for that crossfield ball again to Isaacson, who's been very dangerous down that right hand side. He's not able to do anything more with that than try and head it clear, as John McGinn tries to go past Christensen, and Christensen takes him out. It will be a free kick to Scotland, but he is the danger man so far for Denmark, Isaacson.
Yeah, he was fantastic down there, and Robertson, he's a very good player at all parts of his game, but he's much more comfortable attacking down the left hand side. His crossing's very, very good, but he's been isolated far too much now, and the other players get isolated. Again, I think Rachel was alluding to it there. Get the ball up to Dykes. There's got to be somebody within the 40 yards of him. If there's not much he can do. On this occasion, there is.
Not able to win the header, and it will be a free kick to Denmark. Dykes just a little bit too eager to get on the end of that ball, and it's been a frustrating night for him up there on his own so far this evening. He's not really been able to do much with the service that he's been given. He's had two players around him and two very experienced defenders, and Joachim Andersen and the Barcelona centre half Anders Christensen. Denmark with Mikael Damsgaard, sliding challenge from Kenny McLean, the substitute, wins the ball back for Scotland, and now an opportunity for McTominay to try and skip clear, but he wins a free kick. Scotland have a free kick inside their own half, midway between the edge of the penalty area and the halfway line, which is taken quickly by Ferguson, and there's space for Hickey on this right hand side, which he drives forward into. He's got Christie outside him. It's now Christie up against Dorgu. Christie tries to put the early ball in, but it is Christensen who gets the ball away, only as far though as Christie, who's dropped it back to McKenna. Robertson on the halfway line, McTominay just outside looking for options. Scotland haven't advanced beyond the halfway line. The ball is now back with Craig Gordon, but an opportunity for Scotland to try and get some possession as Hanley lofts it long and over the top of the back line, but far too far ahead of either Christie or Dykes, who were trying to get on the end of that, and the boos for the hands of Kasper Schmeichel as it grasped the ball.
Just watching Ferguson and Christie, they're actually trying to play through phases in the midfield a little bit now. It's not really come off that much, but it's the right thing to do, because if you lump everything off long all the time, it's just coming straight back at you here.
Hanley winning the header ahead of Hoyland as Denmark tried to come forward, and now Hickey giving it away in a dangerous area. It's with Dorgu, and now he's got Hoyland, who takes a big effort, a big strike I should say, from 25-30 yards, and it flies over Craig Gordon's bar. And don't mind a long range effort, but that one was nowhere near it.
It's more at home at Murrayfield than Hampden Park, that one, miles over the top. But we've seen that before the game, a lot of people smashing the ball over the top, from the the practice shots. So a little bit of overexcitement there, but still at this point in time Scotland have kind of eased it a little bit, but there's no doubt that in terms of possession and danger at the moment, the Danes are a long way ahead these last 15 minutes or so.
Ball forward, cut out by McLean, but it's fallen once again to Danish feet. I tell you, one thing we never saw in the warm-up was a goal like McTominay scored. The overhead kick, but it is now Denmark coming forward, trying to get themselves level. Ball in from Damsgaard. It's headed clear though at the back post by Scotland head, and McGinn now gets away. He's got Robertson outside him, but very few options for Robertson. He goes down the line looking for Dykes. It's a foot race between Dykes and Christensen, and Dykes does really well, but he's going to give away the free kick for that. I thought he got his body in the way of the man and ball. Offside it is. Yeah,
definitely offside, and it's a shame that, because that's really hurt the big man. He's put everything into that sprint there, and then the offside flag gets put up, but he'll keep on doing it. He's saying it's a tough gig for Dykes up front. It's the same for every Scotland centre forward. It's a thankless task a lot of the time, but they're all willing to do it, the ones that come on.
Lyndon Dykes preferred to Che Adams this evening. Adams has been an ever-present, but Dykes gets his opportunity against Denmark. They started together in the first qualifying group match, Dykes and Adams. That was against Denmark, a 0-0 draw that set Scotland's qualifying campaign off to a very decent start. A draw not enough for them this evening though. They need to win to ensure their place at the World Cup, and so far they have the goal that has given them that opportunity, as John McGinn skips past Christensen looking for the run of Christie, but Anders Christensen is back to cut it out before it reaches the Bournemouth player's feet. Great run and drive from John McGinn. We saw him doing it against Greece on Saturday in that second half, in that comeback. When he starts driving the team forward, Scotland start moving further up the pitch. Right, let's head back to Wales. There's been another goal. Owen Gwyneth.
Yeah, a much needed goal as well. Wales 3, North Macedonia 1. 36 minutes gone. Brennan Johnson cutting in from the left onto his right foot and smashes into the top corner, deflected into the top corner. Minutes earlier, Nico Williams hit the post after a great save from Dimitrievski. Wales 3, North Macedonia 1.
A heart and mouth moment there for Craig Gordon as Højbjerg took aim from 25 yards or so. It skipped across the wet surface here at Hampden and took a slight deflection just going past Gordon's left hand post. It was a great strike from Højbjerg, low along the wet turf. It is a corner now for Denmark. Denmark looking to try and level things here. It's gone deep to the back post, but there are Scotland heads there. It is recovered by Hjulmand, who's gone to the edge of the area. Shot though high, wide, and gets the cheers from the Hampden Park crowd. Froholt looking for the sensational, not quite delivering. And it is Scotland hanging on to their lead, and they are hanging on a little bit, Rachel.
Yeah, but they're doing well because balls into the box from corners have been magnificent from Denmark, really asking a lot of questions. But that time there, I think maybe McKenna at the back post does well to compete. Second phase, Denmark should do much better there from Froholt, but you know, we'll take it well over the bar and we can reset ourselves and go again. But we're going to do our best to try and limit these opportunities because Denmark are just getting a little bit closer every time.
McTominay winning the header in midfield, but it goes all the way through to Kasper Schmeichel, who sends it out towards Dorgu. Won though by Christie, but Dorgu ends up with the ball back at his feet, and it's played back to Schmeichel again, who this time goes long looking for Højlund. He's being shepherded by Hanley, who does very well, gets a round of applause from Aaron Hickey. Højlund a little look at the referee, but that was solid defending from Grant Hanley, who took his place in the starting lineup tonight minutes before the teams emerged from the tunnel. John Souttar was due to start. Grant Hanley drafted in at the last moment, showing his experience there. The Scotland centre half winning his 66th cap this evening for his country. There is experience in this Scotland team, and they will need to use it. They have the lead, but Denmark are beginning to dominate the ball as Lyndon Dykes tries to put pressure on Anderson, but he finds Christensen, and Denmark again trying to build from the back. Dorgo looking down the line for the run of Højlund, but again Hanley in front of Højlund, and then he's tripped, and it will be a free kick for Scotland. And Grant Hanley, Pat, you said he might want to make up for what were a couple of mistakes on Saturday night. He's been a rock out there so far.
He has been, but he only needs to make one mistake or switch off for a second, because there's so many opportunities for the Danes to get forward. They're on the ball so much at a time, and if you're under this amount of pressure, I mentioned it early on in the game, it's a big pitch, and chasing the ball is a lot harder than having the ball.
Absolutely, and that's when these moments that you speak about, our centre back can be brilliant for the best part of 90 minutes. You make one mistake and at least a goal, that's what everyone remembers. And when you chase a lot and you have to defend a lot and react and get there, you know, the longer the game goes, the more will be tested.
Loose ball heading towards Schmeichel, and Kenny McLean was trying to get onto it, and now Christensen's under pressure from Dykes right in the edge of the area, but he managed to work it out. But now Hickey's putting pressure, and now Christie on Dorgu, but Dorgu does well to skip away, and then Christie clips him from behind, and Denmark will get a free kick. And that was a little moment of uncertainty in Denmark's defence. Scotland unable to capitalise. Schmeichel had to look sharp to get it away from the on-rushing Kenny McLean, and it is now Denmark trying to slow things down again. Anderson on the ball, no options ahead of him, so he's got Christensen to his right, and now Isaacson drops it back to Christensen just on the halfway line. Scotland 1, Denmark 0 in this group decider. Onto this left-hand side, Damsgaard, the Brentford midfielder, finds Højlund just inside the penalty area. He had blue shirts around him, though. He's knocked it back to Dorgu, and now Damsgaard right on the byline, looking for the cross into the back post, but Ferguson blocks it, blocks again from Dorgu. Christie though loses it just outside the penalty area, so again Denmark able to come forward. Christensen making the run from centre half to get involved in this attacking phase of play. Damsgaard now left edge of the penalty area, cross comes in, blocked by Hickey, his Brentford teammate, and it goes out for a Denmark throw-in on the far side, level with the edge of the penalty area, and they take it quickly, trying to keep this sustained pressure on Scotland, trying to get themselves back level. They only need a point from this game. Scotland need to win. Isaacson, right edge of the penalty area, he's got Robertson ahead of him, he drops it to Christensen, the ball comes in, Højlund's got the header, but he hasn't directed it properly towards goal, and it goes over the top, and it will be a goal kick to Scotland. And it is now pressure after pressure for this Scotland back line. Rachel, you've been there, you've been at the heart of it. How do you deal with it when it keeps coming back?
Yeah, the biggest thing is concentration, and probably one thing we'll have in our favour is we've plenty of players in there who will talk a lot. Scott McKenna, Hanley will be loud. I know Ferguson will be speaking to me, Kenny McLean, you know, all these players. The biggest thing is you've got to keep talking, because somebody might just be a little bit more tired than you and they might switch off. And if you can keep using your voice, you just might keep somebody stepping out, getting close, getting a foot in, and that's what you need when you're just consuming this pressure. We're doing well. Midfield are working extremely hard, defending the more dangerous areas really diligently.
Schmeichel clears the ball only as far as Ferguson, trying to get it under control. Dorgu leaps over Christie to win the header. It's back with Christensen, and now back with Schmeichel. At Denmark, they are the top scorers in this group as Hickey wins the ball off Dorgu, tries to skip past Christensen, but it's going to be a free kick to Denmark as Christensen goes down grabbing his ankle. And Denmark, top scorers in this group, they had 35 shots against Belarus on Saturday night in that draw, which is their most on record in a competitive match since records began in 2006. Pat, does that play on the mind at all?
I think if you keep on making chances, you feel kind of comfortable one's going to come off eventually, but Scotland can't afford to let 35 shots on goal, because one of them will go in tonight, you know that's the case. But I don't know about you, the amount of times I've watched this clock in the last 10 or 15 minutes, I just wanted to get to half time so that Scotland can restructure it a little bit, because I think Stevie Clark might have to make some technical changes.
We've got a minute and a half until the 45 is up, plus whatever added time will be added on, and Scotland, they have done the hard part. They have got the opening goal, but now they need to find a way to ensure that they can withstand this Denmark pressure, which is coming again. But McKenna is able to clear. He just launches it long, asks Dykes to chase. Anderson on the ball, he's got Christensen for company, but he's lost it to John McGinn, and now Christensen hacks down McGinn from behind. A yellow card for the Danish fullback, and John McGinn on his knees. He had an opportunity to drive towards goal 20 yards out as he won the ball. That opportunity was denied to McGinn by Christensen. He's done more than take one for the team there, Christensen, but it was his mistake, Pat.
It certainly was his mistake, but he gives Scotland a little bit of chance to get the ball into the box. They're not really having many opportunities, corner kicks, free kicks and those sort of areas. I want Scotland to put the ball in between the centre backs and the goalkeeper, because for all Kasper Schmeichel's a very, very good shot stopper. Coming out to collect balls in that area is not his strong suit.
Robertson left-footed, and it goes. There's a whistle blown, and it's a free kick to Denmark on the penalty spot. I think it's Damsgaard that goes down. As we get 4 minutes added, Pat, will you be able to hold out for 4 minutes?
Yeah, it's more important than Scotland have to hang out just now. Just that little bit of a break there, getting that free kick, getting the ball in the box. That little bit of respite, it goes a long way. And if you're a defender, don't you just love that? 2 minutes of
that's a waste. That's so disappointing to just allow them off the hook, but great play in the first instance from McGinn and even Dykes, because it was a nothing ball, just got us a little half chance. We didn't quite make the best use of it, but there'll be more of those hopefully.
Well, not quite half time yet. 4 minutes added on here, but it is half time in Wales. Owain Gwynedd.
Wales 3, North Macedonia 1. Wilson, Brooks and Johnson with the goals for Wales. Deservedly ahead at half-time, and as it stands, Wales will lead from North Macedonia to second place in the group. Wales 3, North Macedonia 1.
It's going well for Wales as they look to ensure that playoff place. Scotland also doing what they need to do at the moment. They have themselves in front, but Denmark have dominated large spells of this first half, and they are on the ball with their captain Højbjerg just crossing the halfway line. He's got Dorgu as ever on that left hand side, ball going in. Hickey blocks it though on the edge of the penalty area, and now it will go out for a Denmark throw in, which Dorgu will take quickly to Højbjerg. Gets it back, the fullback, who's been a willing runner down that left hand side, very much enjoying the fact that he doesn't have to deal with Ben Gannon Doak anymore. The Scotland winger forced off with a hamstring injury. Isaacson looking to cross, it hits McTominay, falls back though to the winger's feet. This time he drops it to Anderson. Christensen outside him, and now back with Isaacson. Lovely ball inside to Anderson, who's continued his run, looked for the return to Isaacson, but Robertson does really well. Now Scotland with John McGinn, a chance to perhaps run down this line. He's not got so much support. McGinn, he goes down. 2 Denmark players around him, and the referee tells him to get up as Denmark stay in possession of the ball. Dorgu again, left side, Højlund alongside him, and Højlund does win the free kick under the challenge of Scott McTominay. Denmark again take it quickly, keeping the pressure on. Christensen, right hand side, Isaksen driving towards the penalty area, takes a nick off Robertson, stays at Isaksen's feet, he cuts onto his left side, Robertson slips, looking for an option, he drops it to the edge of the penalty area, the shot comes in from Christensen and it's taken a deflection. It will be another corner, and Scotland have got around a minute and a half to hold out before the half-time whistle will blow. Denmark with another corner, and it is relentless pressure.
And dangerous crosses too from these corners.
As one comes in now, but it is a Scotland head that gets on it. I think it was Hickey, and now he's headed it clear again. There is not a single blue shirt though outside of Scotland's penalty area, so Denmark will come again, as they do, through Dorgu. Scotland roaring their team, trying to get them to half-time without conceding a goal, with maintaining this lead as Scott McTominay is taken down. I think he played for that one a little bit. He did well, Scott McTominay. He attracted the free kick and got Scotland some possession. How
delicately put. Yeah, he left his legs there as he went past, because he knew there was no one in front of him. He was running into space, but he had red shirts and nothing else in front of him there, and you just need that sometimes to. And by the way, the referees maybe bought that one slightly. I have to say I like this referee today. He's allowed the game to play. He's a bit old school, and it's fine, because the players, when they know that's the case, they just got on with the game. And Scotland need that, because physicality is a big part of Scotland's game. They need to be able to use it.
Dykes not able to win the high ball, but there is the half-time whistle. The roar around Hampden Park is because Scotland are doing what they need to do. They know they need to win, and so far they are doing just that, and it came in the most sensational fashion. An overhead kick, a thing of absolute beauty, world class from Scott McTominay, and that is the difference between the two sides. And Denmark, they have dominated that first half, Pat Nevin, but it is Scotland who are doing what they need to do, and Steve Clarke, he will be happy in some regards. There is still work to do though.
You know, all the phrases like you've got to win ugly sometimes come to mind, and sometimes you do that, and Scotland have been good at doing that, or drawing ugly sometimes in the past as well. And they're going to, it's been a rear guard action for 25-30 minutes or whatever. There will be a narrative, I think, that it's because Ben Gannon went off. I think it had actually started before that. I think it had been 5 minutes before he went down injured that Scotland were under a little bit of pressure. But used to that, it's part of the game, have to live with it, have to deal with it. A lot of big questions got to be asked between now and the end of this game. We don't know what's going to happen.
See Craig Gordon just making his way up the tunnel. He's not been hugely tested. He did make one great save against Højlund, but Højlund was offside. The ball was in the net, but Højlund, a little push as he went to header at the back post. And other than those two moments that wouldn't have counted anyway, Craig Gordon's not really been hugely tested, albeit there's been a lot of defensive work in front of him, particularly from set pieces.
Yeah, there absolutely has been, and I feel we have dealt with crosses very well on the whole. There's been a few moments, there's been a free runner, and Denmark haven't quite found the right ball in the right moment, which concerns me a little bit. But otherwise, you have to say we've limited them to good chances. Most, you know, they've had 10 shots, 0 on target, because those two obviously were ruled out for fouls before it got that far. But most have been from outside the box, and you can way over the bar, not really been of that much danger. But you'd imagine if we allow them to continue in this rhythm, almost 80% of the ball for most of certainly the second part of that first half, they're going to create something. So we have to continue to be switched on, but also I think we can do a little better in breaking pressure and releasing that first ball and trying to just hold on to it a little longer.
Well, at Hampden Park, under the lights and a cold drizzly night in Glasgow, Scotland, as things stand, are at the World Cup. At half-time it is Scotland 1, Denmark 0.
Hey Ailey, how does it feel to have just done a goal commentary that people will probably play for 50 years?
Oh, I hope it was good.
It was brilliant. It was spot on. It was perfect.
What a goal.
I mean, Rachel Corsie, hang time.
Steve, Scott McTominay scored that goal and he came running over to our side of the stand. He was pointing up. I thought for a minute he was looking for you after you were slagging him in the warm-up.
Yeah, fair. I mean, honestly, you made the Cristiano Ronaldo comparison, which is perfect because, well, I think you both did, didn't you? But anyway, it was the hang time, wasn't it? He was up there forever. He might still be there.
Do you know the odd thing about it is, before he actually jumped, you think he's going to try it. You can
see him winding up.
You
Yeah.
see him winding it up.
You're thinking, please don't.
You and me both. That's never going to. Oh, one of those classic ones. Don't do it. Oh well, good. That'll do. See if you freeze frame that. We've just seen a few replays. We will see many, many more. The height he actually gets, he's put up there, is fantastic. The timing is absolutely brilliant as well. But just the fact that he's got the belief and the confidence to do it because of what he's become over the last little while, and all the accolades he got last season, he's been showing it for Scotland for a long time. Now he's showing it here. And as I said to you before the game, Manchester United fans were saying, why didn't he do it at Manchester United so often? Because you didn't play him there.
I mean, I'll tell you what it reminded me of, Ailey. It reminded me a little bit of Jude Bellingham's goal for England against Slovakia in the last minute of the Euros.
Change the subject. You're talking about the wrong country.
Can't talk about that here.
Hold on.
Tumbleweed.
This was better. Genuinely.
I mean, obviously, Bellingham's goal had a huge impact as well, and I think when it's the time that it was at, and it was a sensational goal. But this is the biggest game, arguably, that any of these players have played in for their country. Yes, they've qualified for a European Championships and they've qualified for major tournaments under Steve Clarke, but this is the World Cup. To do that at that moment in a game like this, with the pressure, the magnitude, none of that is lost on these players as to what they are doing here this evening. And he's pulled that out the bag. It was sensational.
And I almost don't want to talk about anything else, but there is still a game for Scotland to win. And I kind of think what sums that up, Pat, is the fact that the first reaction from Andy Robertson and the first reaction from Steve Clarke after they'd gone a little bit wild was the old sort of calm down, everybody calm down.
Yeah, your games can go mad after times like that. Remember, it's an early goal, and as I say, Scotland, they can engender chaos when they want to. You actually don't want it at that point in time. That is the last thing you want. You want structure, you want control, you want to calm the game down a little bit, but it's hard to do when something special like that's happened. But, you know, I know why Robert was saying that, I know why Clarkey was saying that, but in actual fact, it was Scott McTominay. He'll be fine. He'll calm down, he'll get himself together, and he did precisely that afterwards. So, yeah, it's a lovely moment, and we talk about before the game the great and memorable goals, and that is one of the great and memorable goals. But it'll be even more than that if it becomes the goal, if Scotland manage to hold out. You know, at the moment Scotland don't look as if they're going to create a lot more, but you just never know. And one of the most intriguing things that's going to happen in this second half, it's going to get tactically very interesting. You know, is there a temptation at some point? If Scotland aren't getting out just now, if it seems that way, do you go through at the back? Do you bring on another centre back? Do you bring on Tierney, who can play left centre back, and allow Robert to go further forward? Things like that are going to be playing through Stevie Clarke's mind just now. But do you go too early? And remember, Scotland have lost 2 players already. So many things flying through a manager's head at this point in time.
Would you go through I mean, obviously 3 at the back doesn't help Gannon Doak because it takes away that need for a natural winger. We don't have that now, Scotland. So do you go 3 at the back and take your width from Andy Robertson and from Aaron Hickey, as opposed to getting your midfielders to go into those positions?
I feel very lonely in Scotland sometimes, because we did play that system quite a lot and it was brilliant for us for a long time, and then it went a wee bit stale and it was seen as the antithesis of how Scotland should play. Look, it's something we can do. It's something that we've done well. It's something, particularly the left-hand side of it, is spectacularly good. There are times when that's not an ultra-defensive thing to do. So it will be on Stevie Clarke's mind just now. Is it the right time to do that? And if you've got another, say, defender on, that's another body in there when you're trying to defend from corner kicks and crosses. And of course, we've got a real problem at left back just now, because Isaacson's been pretty special. And we need a wee bit of cover there, I think, and McGinn's done it a little bit so far. So lots and lots of questions. I don't actually know the answer. Happily, that's why I'm no manager and Clarke is.
Right, Hampden Park sounds absolutely incredible. Scotland are halfway there, leading Denmark, 0-0, 45 minutes away from the men's team getting to their first World Cup since 1998. Second half commentary to come. Let's breathe and get the news with Lisa McCormick.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Steve. US politicians have overwhelmingly voted in favour of releasing the files held by the Justice Department on Jeffrey Epstein. President Trump said he supported the release after weeks of claiming it's a distraction by Democrats. Here's our North America correspondent, Nomia Iqbal.
It has gone over that threshold, which means that the House has passed the Epstein Files Transparency Act. It's not over. The next step will be for the Senate to take it up. The Senate Majority Leader John Thune will decide when that will be. The Republicans control the Senate. If it passes in the Senate, it will then land on Donald Trump's desk to sign.
The Chinese embassy in London has criticised what it's called malicious slander after MI5 claimed that China is targeting MPs and peers on LinkedIn. The Security Minister, Dan Jarvis, told the Commons that ministers won't tolerate covert and calculated attempts to interfere with British sovereign affairs. Donald Trump has welcomed the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman to the White House. That's his first visit to the US since the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi 7 years ago. The Crown Prince told reporters in the Oval Office that his death was a huge mistake and lessons have been learned. Key figures from the world of music, theatre and sport have welcomed the government's crackdown on the reselling of tickets for live events. Websites won't be able to sell tickets for more than their face value, although they will be allowed to add appropriate fees. Gus Unger-Hamilton is from the indie rock band Alt J.
They're not battling like a bloke standing outside the venue with a few tickets in his pocket trying to make 50 quid. They're battling bots, a very highly technified, system of touting, which is basically making huge amounts of money for multinational companies and individuals who are doing it for the wrong reasons. Because so much money is leaving the creative economy going into the pockets of touts, which means that people who might go to 3 gigs a year can now only afford to go to 1. And that means music and artists lose out.
And a prisoner in Australia has launched a legal challenge against the ban of Vegemite in jails in Victoria. Officials say it can be used to brew alcohol and distract drug detection dogs. But the man argues that the ban breaches his human rights to enjoy his culture as an Australian.
5 Live Sports.
The Rugby Union Autumn Internationals.
Unbelievable scene to shell-shock Twickenham.
Rugby Union's elite clash in a bid to close out the year in style.
Oh, what a try!
Keep up to date with all the insight and analysis with the Rugby Union Weekly Podcast.
The Rugby Union Autumn Internationals.
It doesn't stop.
Listen with the BBC Sounds app.
This is 5 Live Sports with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Well, it's half-time here at Hampden Park, but the Scotland fans are singing like we are still in the aftermath of that sensational Scott McTominay goal, which has given them the lead in this crucial final World Cup qualifier. Other live sport going on. We'll bring you back up to date with Wales against North Macedonia shortly. The Ashes, of course, just 3 days away. Every ball on TMS. You can watch highlights on the BBC Sport website and app. Full highlights every afternoon as well on iPlayer. Let's go to Perth, which is probably a little bit warmer than Glasgow tonight, and join Ellie Oldroyd.
After their warm-up match at Lilac Hill and a couple of days' rest, including a bit of golf for some, England's squad made it to the Perth Stadium for the first time today. Team photos, a full net session and media commitments as the players acclimatise themselves to the towering stands of the 60,000-seat arena, which will be packed to the rafters on Friday morning. After some concern over Mark Wood's hamstring last week, he was back in action in the nets and, according to teammate Jamie Smith, firing on all cylinders.
Quick. I had a few that nearly took my head off, so it's obviously great signs, and as long as he's feeling nice and confident in his body, then, as a very experienced player, you feel very confident that, he's going to charge in all day. He's always that sort of person that's, giving more to the team than anyone could ask, and he's always the first man to want the ball in hand as well. So it'd be great if he was able to play, yeah.
You've got such a big role in this series, of course. You're right out there in the heat of the day, in the middle, keeping wicket. How are you approaching that with potentially 5 days of the sun beating on your back?
Yeah, I think I had a decent amount of exposure to it in the summer, being out in the field. 23 of 25 days, I think, was pretty eye-opening for me. My body felt pretty tired and mentally tired by the end of it, so hopefully these wickets offer a little bit more assistance. Expecting a little bit more pace and bounce and sort of carry, which should ease the load a little bit. It felt a lot of times in the summer we're 10 yards too close for the bowlers of pace we had and a lot around my ankles. So that would be quite nice as well. But I feel like if you can't wake up a day sore and then come out here in front of 60,000, then you're probably in the wrong sport. To have the support of a lot of people out here, everyone you sort of spoke to before you left the country was coming out to Australia at one point or another and supporting. The Barmy Army, it's obviously been their support over the last 2 years since I played has been fantastic, and it'll be no different out here. So hopefully we can give everyone back home something to be proud of and also entertain them along the way.
Described as a green monster by the local press, the batting track certainly has a verdant tinge to it, although it's likely to lose a layer or two of grass by the time play gets underway in 3 days' time. It was unexpectedly cool and rainy this morning in Perth, and the forecast for the end of the week also looks more English than Australian, with temperatures in the mid-20s and potentially more rain on day 2. What's not in doubt is that England will get a white-hot reception from the local crowd as the Ashes get underway on Friday.
Just cannot wait. 2:20am Friday morning, live on 5 Sports Extra and BBC Sounds. Elsewhere, England manager Sarina Wiegman has named her 25-player squad to face China and Ghana in friendlies next month. It includes a first call-up for Freya Godfrey, striker for London City Lionesses, return of Lauren Hemp and Grace Clinton from injury. You can hear from Sarina Wiegman in the latest episode of the Women's Football Weekly. Ben Haynes sitting down with a 1-to-1 and also reacting on her latest England squad. Norwich have appointed former Rangers boss Philippe Clement on a 3.5-year deal. He's their new manager. In rugby union, Jamie George, Tom Roebuck and Ollie Lawrence are all going to miss England's final autumn international against Argentina on Sunday. They all picked up injuries in England's victory over New Zealand. Commentary of England-Argentina on 5 Sports Extra this Sunday from 4 o'clock. We are underway in the second half of Wales-North Macedonia. Owen Gwynedd.
Yeah, still Wales 3, North Macedonia 1. 3 minutes gone in the second half here in Cardiff. The fight for second spot in Group J and a home playoff spot, the prize for Wales. Wilson, Brooks and Johnson with the goals for Wales. Miovski for the visitors. Currently 3-1 with 4 minutes gone in the second period.
Here at Hampden Park, Rachel Corsie, it was only a matter of time before Boogie Woogie was on, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
Yes, and please don't ask me the words. I do know them. I'm not giving you a rendition.
I know those two. That's about it. We've had some Biffy Clyro blasting out as well. It's just felt like a real Scottish national night so far. Not just about football, far beyond that. They have 45 more minutes to go. Pat Nevid, there were times in that first half after Gannon Doak went off with the injury where Scotland were defending like it was the 92nd minute. And it's easy for me to say, they're a bit too deep here. It's very hard for them to get out at times. They need to find a way to do that.
Exactly, and it's a very simple thing to say, but they're trying to do the right things to play through the midfield, but not able to do it. And then eventually you're desperate to hold on to it, so you're too far away from your striker, and you're hitting the ball up to him, and it's very hard for him to hold on to the ball and for those players to get level with him. Just a little bit of a break here for 15 minutes, and get the batteries recharged for a while. But watch after 60-65 minutes. I think Stevie Clark will have to make some adaptation.
There's a little lad just behind us here in the stand who I was standing right beneath him when the national anthem came on, and there was a tear in his eye, and that was before the game. It's been an incredible evening so far for Scotland. We're ready for the second half. Hold your breath, swing your saltire, Scotland fans. 45 minutes to go. Ailey.
Thanks, Steve. Yes, a tear in the eye, because it is a dream that has been dreamed for 27 years that Scotland will be back at a World Cup. The young boy Steve's talking about, he wasn't even born 27 years ago. He's hoping to see Scotland at a World Cup for the very first time as Scotland get us back underway in this second half. And it is Scotland who lead, that Scott McTominay goal, but the stats not pretty from the first half. Denmark 10 shots on goal, but not one on target. Scotland 1 shot, 1 on target, 1 goal. It was in sensational fashion as well from Scott McTominay, the overhead kick. But Denmark have dominated the ball, and they are on it at the start of this second half, playing from a right to left in the red tops, white shorts and red socks, and Patrick Dorgu's been an ever-present option down that left-hand side. Scotland starting the second half off as they ended the first, defending, camped in their box as Denmark looked to try and create an opening, and Isaacson down that right hand side was a real threat in the first half. He's looking for an option in the area, but Denmark not swinging it in. Scotland forcing them backwards. And Pat, we wondered if there might be changes at half time. We wondered if they might come out and try and play a little bit more front foot, but it seems to be as it was, as Dorgu gets the ball across, cleared though by Ferguson.
I didn't really make changes. Obviously 2 changes have been made already, which limits where he can go from here. So I think after about 60 minutes you maybe have to adapt it a little bit. Some of the players will run out of gas. I mean, you look at Dykes, he's just chasing everything just now.
Hoyland into the area, twisting, turning, trying to find space for a shot. Brilliant hand from Craig Gordon to deny the Napoli forward. He did really well to find the space to get the shot away, but Craig Gordon equal to it. That's his first big save of the night, Rachel Corsie.
Yeah, brilliant save, and Hickey's just in his line, so he doesn't see it till very, very late, and he gets down so well. It's stuck to the grass. Brilliant strong hand.
So a corner early in this second half for Denmark. Damsgaard places it in towards the penalty spot, but over the head of Anderson, and Scotland launch it clear. Andy Robertson is chasing down Dorgu, who's got the time to play it back to his goalkeeper, then flicks it over Robertson's head back to Dorgu. So let me run you through the team. Scotland with Craig Gordon in goal, a back 4 of Andy Robertson winning his 90th cap this evening, Scott McKenna, Grant Hanley and Aaron Hickey. In the midfield, Lewis Ferguson and Kenny McLean, who replaced the injured Ben Gannon-Doak early on. Ryan Christie took that right hand position that Gannon-Doak vacated. McTominay the goal scorer, and John McGinn on the left, with Lyndon Dykes leading the line. Denmark keeping the ball under pressure. Scotland supporters thought it should have been a free kick their way, but Højbjerg has time to find Hjulmand. His central midfield partner gets it back, tries to flick it forward to Isaacson, and Robertson is there to knock it out for another Denmark corner. So I'll run you through the Denmark team. Kasper Schmeichel in goal, a back 4 of Patrick Dorgu, Joachim Andersen, Andreas Christensen and Rasmus Christensen. Pierre-Emil Højbjerg, the captain, and Morten Hjulmand in midfield. Damsgaard, Froholt, Isaacson, who's been very influential. They are in behind Rasmus Højlund. McTominay heads that corner away, but it will fall for Damsgaard, who flicks it back onto that right hand side, and that cross from deep gets a wave of disgust from Isaacson. It was over the top of Craig Gordon's crossbar, and it was certainly an opportunistic effort, that one. That's poor, very poor. I mean, that's not a cross, that's a shot, and a very poor one when he's got the entire team in there. If you're a centre back, you're loving that, aren't you?
Yeah, and if you're a centre back who's come up for the corner, you're absolutely furious that that's a decision he's made in that situation. It is the Denmark fans I think we're hearing at the moment. They have started the second half positively. They've had their first real effort on goal from Højlund as Dorgu skips past Hickey, but cover from Ferguson wins it back. Scotland with the ball, poor pass from Christie. McLean not able to get on the end of it. Dorgu still up there looking for options. Pressure from Ferguson, and it goes out, and it's a Scotland throw-in down in front of us.
Well, it shouldn't be a Scotland throw-in, but the referee gave it to Scotland.
The referee gave it to Scotland, then let Damsgaard take the throw-in. Yeah, he's changed his mind again. He's saying it's a Scotland throw-in.
The referee's indecision is final there. Doesn't know what he's done, does he? But to be fair, I have to be fair to him. He's spawned a lot of things like the referee's doing. With the best will in the world, John McGinn is very good at winning fouls, sticking his backside down and rolling and going down. He's not given him one for it yet. He's just said, no, go on again.
McLean launches it forward, but Dykes again just losing out to Christensen, the big tall central defender. Came through at Chelsea, now plays at Barcelona. Dorgu on this left hand side flicks it forward for Damsgaard, but he's under pressure from Ferguson, wins it back, and now Christie holds the challenges off well, but he's isolated, nowhere to go, and again Scotland lose possession on this halfway line. Also in action tonight, Wales against North Macedonia. Wales leading that one by 3-1. Wales, a victory for them this evening will ensure they get a playoff through the group phase. They already had one through the Nations League phase, but going through the group stages puts you in a more favourable pot to get a more favourable draw. So a good victory for Craig Bellamy's side as Denmark come forward again. Højlund under pressure again, just trying to create a space, drops it to Dorgu, cross comes in, there's a hand from Gordon as it flicked off a couple of bodies, and that could have really gone anywhere, and it has gone out for a Denmark throw-in just down in front of us on this left-hand side, Pat.
They're calling for handball, maybe McTominay. The referee's doesn't think, was it McTominay or possibly? Anyway, the referee's waved it on. He's not interested in it at all, which Scotland can provide another side of relief. But this, Scotland are playing a 4-5, big gap, 1. And that big gap, 1, is part of the problem just now, because you're winning the ball and there's nowhere to go with it. So we're under constant pressure.
Ferguson and Damsgaard just battling for the ball right on the touchline, and it's gone over the back, and the referee has awarded Denmark the corner. Lewis Ferguson furious at that decision. Damsgaard preparing to take it, but it's Ferguson who clears. Again though, there is just not a Scotland body any further forward than the edge of the penalty area, so it's going to come straight back again, and this time it's down the right. Isaacson, he's beyond Robertson, cleared to McGinn, and McGinn all on his own again, trying to win that foul that you spoke about, Pat, and the referee giving nothing. And now there is an coming together on the edge of the area as Isaacson goes down under the pressure of Andy Robertson, and the referee waves that one away as well, and I'm not sure that one was one to wave away.
On the line as well, Rachel?
That is one that they'll certainly look at. I think in first viewing it looked a little bit clumsy from Robertson, and it does possibly look like it's just in that far corner of the penalty box.
You know, definitely Robertson looks quite shocked by it just now, but they've got to look at that. I mean, my first thought, that give that anywhere else, you give a foul there. He's not got the ball, he's on the line when they... Oh, I tell you what.
Well, we have got a pause in play.
I think this will be given.
It looks to me like that. And it's millimetres either way, but it looks on the corner of the penalty box, right on the corner.
But the ball is certainly in the box. The question for those looking at it, and we now get the confirmation that there is a potential penalty check, the question will be, are the players...
Well, it's a contact in the box, that's what it's a contact, and the contact to me, we're a long way away here, but it looks right on the line, and right on the line is a penalty, so this is very worrying moments for Scotland.
We saw the very clearly worded words of Andy Robertson to the referee, that's not a foul. Well, you both think it is.
I thought it was, I'll be honest with you. Not that I couldn't see he got any of the ball.
He gets caught just a little bit square, the movement's good, it's sort of a little swivel. He doesn't quite get the chance to correct his foot, so he sort of blocks him. There's a coming together, there's definitely contact, sort of knee on thigh kind of situation, really.
Well, they are taking their time.
Yeah,
taking their time to look at this one. So I'll run you through what's coming up on Radio 5 Live across the weekend. Andy Robertson's Liverpool up against Nottingham Forest. That will be your commentary on Saturday at 3 o'clock, and it will be followed by Newcastle against Manchester City. On Sunday it is Leeds against Aston Villa and the North London derby, Arsenal against Tottenham. That one is from 4:30, and we still wait here at Hampden, and we can see and hear a nervous wait around the four stands as the referee, I thought he put his whistle to his mouth there, he'd still wait.
Well, he's got to come over and look at it. I mean, exactly, which means he's going to get a penalty.
So here he comes, Polish referee Simon Marciniak coming over to take a look at the monitor, to take a look at whether this should be a penalty kick for Denmark, an opportunity from the spot to level things up at Hampden, and that would swing the momentum of this match right back into the hands of the Danes. They only need a point to ensure that they will finish top of the group. Scotland have the opening goal as the referee makes the sign and points to the spot, and you can hear what Hampden Park think of it. But Rachel Corsie, is it the correct decision?
Well, I think it is. I think what took so long is they really had to probably look at all the angles they had to see if the actual contact in the box. Andy Robertson's feet are in the box, it's his knee that makes contact, which, I mean, you'd really need probably a lot better technology than we've been able to see from the replays, but on a natural glance, you know, if it was at the other end, we'd be saying, yeah, we would want it.
I'll just say yes. Yes, it's a penalty by the rules. That however much you would or wouldn't want it to be, and it's a deserved chance they've had, and it's a tough one for Andy Robertson today. He's done really, really well against a very good player, but eventually at some point it's going to get by him. So here's a huge moment.
A huge moment at Hampden Park. Rasmus Højlund has put the ball on the spot. The 22-year-old Dane against the 42-year-old Craig Gordon, and Højlund smashes it into the top right-hand corner. Wonderfully taken penalty from the Danish forwards as he knee slides in front of a jubilant section of Hampden Park, all dressed in red and white. That could be the goal that takes them back to the World Cup. Rasmus Højlund with his 13th goal for his country. It might be one of the most important. At Hampden Park, it is Scotland 1, Denmark 1.
One of the big things about watching Scotland of late, they can adapt massively. We watched the game against Greece the other night, being absolutely battered and then becoming the better team. Now, they change the system, they change the style, they sometimes change the personnel. These are massive, massive moments for Stevie Clark down there, who will need to adapt it, because Scotland cannot keep on playing the way we're playing just now, and it won't be 1-1 by the end. It'll be more than that.
No, exactly that, and I think in some regards you play the circumstance, you score so early and you know that then Denmark are going to come at you, so we've probably been a little bit too content at that, but we now know there's a bit of onus on us. We're going to be compact, but
Dykes brilliantly wins the header for Christie inside the area, but he's just not able to find the little touch to take himself into a position to cross the ball, and it goes out for a goal kick. We've had a goal here, it's all square. There's also been a goal in Wales. Owain Gwynedd.
Yes, now Wales 4, North Macedonia 1. Wales can start planning for a home playoff tie. A superb team goal beginning in the host own half, finished by Dan James. Wales running riot here. Wales 4, North Macedonia 1.
A very good night for Wales. Scotland started well, but they have been pegged back. It is all square. It is as it was at the start of the night, which is that Scotland needed to win. They needed to score. And Pat Nevin, after 58 minutes, it's still the same.
Well, first of all, Scotland are going out just now, but they've adapted it like I expected them to do. McTominay is now almost working as a second centre forward.
Dorgu, though, with space, he's beyond Christie, looks for the little ball inside, but it's good cover again from Ferguson, and now McTominay gets it just on the edge of the centre circle. Great challenge though from Christensen to win possession back for the Danes, and it's going to take a big effort now for Scotland. They have defended for a lot of this opening 58 minutes after their very, very fast start, and now Denmark from the penalty spot have found the leveller. That changes the complexion of the group. That puts Denmark top, and that puts Denmark into the World Cup. Scotland will have a playoff unless they can find another goal, as the ball is swept to that right hand side. It is Isaacson against Robertson, and he skips past him once again. McGinn covers brilliantly and then avoids the ball going out for the corner, then hits it off Isaacson, and it goes out for a goal kick.
I talked to you very early about Robbo having a tough time against Isaacson. I'd rather spend the time talking about how good Isaacson is, to be honest. He's fast, his feet are lightning quick. He's got to that byline far too often for comfort for Scotland, and he got to the byline again there. I mean, somehow we need to find a way to stop that happening, or else there's no doubt there'll be more chances created over there.
Once upon a time linked with a move to Glasgow with Celtic. I'm not sure how strong those links were, but certainly he was a name that was mentioned. He's been very impressive here this evening, plays his football for Lazio. But one thing that will give the Scotland supporters hope, and any listening at home, is that Scotland have scored 2 or more goals in each of their last 4 matches, as John McGinn spins away from Christensen, who's picked up a second yellow card. Denmark are down to 10. Christensen once again fouling McGinn as he spins away from him. He has seen red, and this could be another huge turning point in this game. Rasmus Christensen sent off for Denmark, and again the momentum, it just feels like it might take another little switch in the other direction, Rachel.
Well, let's hope. I mean, it's a crazy decision from Christensen to come in like that on McGinn. You know McGinn's going to probably take a touch. It's going to put you in a situation where he's going to try and run with the ball. So to dive in like that and put yourself in a position where you might need to foul is a very poor decision on a yellow card, and he's put his side in a little bit of trouble here.
Scotland were just about to make 2 changes there. Now he's going to have to think about Stevie Clarke. Will he make those same changes? You think we've got a little bit more space now, a little bit more time. We've got an extra man in the field. That changes everything once again. Half an hour, well, there'll be more than half an hour with the extra time that we'll add on at the end. But boy, this is going to change everything. Listen to the fans now. The sound is brilliant now. The belief is back.
He's getting an arm round his shoulder from the coaching staff, Rasmus Christensen, as he trudges up the tunnel here at Hampden Park. Scotland have the free kick. It's midway between the edge of the penalty area and the halfway line. Andy Robertson is standing over it. It is towards the left-hand side of the pitch. An opportunity to swing one in, which he does now. The head goes up, McTominay, but again a whistle goes for a push in the area, and Scotland waste another opportunity from a set piece.
Do you know, I'm looking at it, I have no idea what happened there. Dorgus found himself in the ground. I can't see much going on there. The referee's saying he spotted a push, I think, by Lyndon Dykes. But those 2 changes that Stevie Clarke was going to make, I think it's just underlined it's the right one to do. It's going to be a couple of strikers that's coming on. He's going for it, but they need to.
It is an attacking change indeed. Down below us, Che Adams and Lawrence Shankland are waiting to come on. So Scotland, positive changes ahead. At the moment they are battling for the ball in midfield, but once again it is Denmark who come out on top. Højbjerg, and then Isaacson goes down looking for a free kick, but the referee has given it the way of Scotland. McGinn takes it quickly, but too quickly, because these changes will now be made. So Lawrence Shankland is coming on in the place of Ryan Christie. Shankland back in the Scotland fold for this couple of really important games, and Che Adams will replace Lyndon Dykes up front. Adams has 5 goals in his last 6 caps, which includes a hat-trick in a friendly against Liechtenstein, but he has been on scoring form for his country. And Lawrence Shankland, well, he's certainly in scoring form for his club. 3 goals in his last 4 games for Hearts, and returns to the Scotland fold for the first time in a year. His first cap since November 2024 against Greece. And Denmark, they're also going to make a change, and it will be a defensive one, as Yannick Vestergaard from Leicester City makes his way onto the field, and surprisingly perhaps replacing Mikael Damsgaard.
Yeah, well, they need to get that back line sorted out, and Vestergaard the centre back or full back area sometimes. So yeah, you can see what they're trying to do. He's a very good player, obviously Vestergaard as well, but Scotland will ask a lot more questions, and I very much expect Scotland to be in the opposition half a lot more in these next 25 minutes than they have been in probably 40-50 before that.
Well, it's a 4-4-2 now for Scotland, which actually is the formation they played against Denmark in the opening game, as the ball comes in, but it's a clearance from Vestergaard. His first touch, it just goes up in the air and a body falls to the ground. Che Adams with his arms outstretched saying that wasn't a foul, but it is given by the referee.
Well, again, he's just throwing himself to the ground there. I mean, that's a dangerous thing to do for a defender, because this is the referee's not always giving it.
He's not given very much at all, and I think that was soft. Adams just really eager to try and compete for the ball, goes high up in there in the box, and I mean, it's not a foul.
Not a foul.
He almost looks like he barges into Adams.
Correct. Initial contact, it's one the referees do fall for quite a lot with throws. Initially you throw out a leg or throw out part of your body and then fall down, and that was an obvious one.
As the long ball skips right through the heart of Scotland's defence, and Craig Gordon outside of his area to clear it, and now Højbjerg goes down under the pressure of John McGinn, and the referee gives another free kick, and McGinn is now the one to ask the question and say, was that really a free kick?
He's given none of them before, but because he did the sending off, sometimes there's a little lean towards the team that you sent a player off against.
Yeah, you start to sort of have a little bit of empathy for the fact they're a player down, but you shouldn't. But referees are also human too.
Well, 65 minutes gone here at Hampden Park. Scotland 1, Denmark 1. That scoreline not enough for Scotland. It is enough for Denmark, but Denmark now down to 10 as a shot comes in. It is deflected, though. It will be another Danish corner. So Denmark down to 10. The red card to Rasmus Christensen. Scotland have switched things up, put on a couple of strikers, trying to get back on the front foot. They need a goal, but it is Denmark with the corner. Mikael Damsgaard has gone off, so it will be Isaacson who comes over to this left-hand side.
They're taking an eternity with every free kick and every throw in now, the Danes. Understandably so.
Right arm raised, in it goes, and there is Adams, who's just come on the field of play to head it clear, but it falls to Dorgu, who's got Isaacson in loads of space on this left-hand side. Now got Kenny McLean forcing him onto his right foot. Højlund and Vestergaard looking for the run out on the right-hand side from his centre-back partner, actually, in Christensen, but he's laid it off to Højbjerg. Christensen gets it back now, and now Denmark looking to build down this right-hand side, taking it towards the corner flag. The cross does come in, and there is space at the back post for Froholt, but he wasn't quite able to get on the end of it. He finds Dorgu. Denmark just building just outside the area. Dorgu prods it, looking for the run of Højlund, gets onto it, knocks it back to Froholt, again to Dorgu. Denmark, lots of balls, not going into the area though.
Scotland have to be more proactive though. You're standing off with that, you've got an extra man, you need to get close, you need to ask questions, you need to get the ball back.
Still Denmark have it on the right hand side with Isaacson. Tries to skip past Hickey, who's moved over onto that left hand side at the moment. In it comes Isaacson again, but this time Scotland do win it, and now it is Ferguson trying to skip away. He's fouled. It will be a free kick to Scotland just inside their own half, and Scotland now with an opportunity to get bodies forward, to get hold of the ball, to get themselves back into shape. Robertson now back on the left hand side where he usually is, and Hanley getting a touch off the ball. Scotland know they need another goal. They need to find something. They need the 3 points if they are to ensure their place at the World Cup for the first time for the men's team in 27 years. Ball forward looking for Adams, but it's well cut out by Højbjerg. This time Ferguson cuts out the ball long. Adams flicks it into the path of Robertson. Robertson with a cross, it's deep. Dorgu is there, and it's headed back towards the goalkeeper by Højbjerg, and that's not one the goalie wants. Did well, Kasper Schmeichel gets the apology from his captain.
Yeah, he did, but just getting Robertson up the field there, getting on the left hand side, what he's best at. And somehow we need to get a little bit more of that, get balls into the box. You've got strikers on now give them a little bit of service.
Lawrence Shanklin flicks it over the top for the run of Adams, but it's going to go all the way through to Schmeichel, and he is able to pick the ball up right on the right edge of the penalty area. So it is one apiece here. Scotland need the victory, Wales also need the victory, and they are doing the job certainly very well tonight. Owain Gwynedd.
They're cruising to victory now. Harry Wilson has done it again. Left-footed free kick from the edge of the box. Top corner. Wales 5, North Macedonia 1.
Free-flowing Wales.
Scotland going to make a change. I've been hinting it for quite some time.
You called it, Pat.
Quite a long time. If you're going to get something out of this game, you need to get crosses in good areas. I love when I see Tierney and Robertson, or Robertson, but one of the two of them, or both of them preferably, getting up that left hand side. They are unstoppable when they work together. Let's see if it's Robertson or for someone else.
But it is Kieran Tierney who's standing below us, waiting to come on. We have seen him go into that more advanced position on the left hand side at times for Scotland, as Che Adams just trying to get past Hjulmand, but he's bundled to the ground, and now Isaacson driving forward. He's got Scott McKenna in front of him. Isaacson against McKenna, he drops it back, shot comes in, it's blocked, but it's fallen to Højbjerg, and now the shot again, blocked again. Scotland bodies getting in front of the just outside the penalty area, nothing given. Denmark coming forward again, right hand edge of the area. It is now into Højbjerg, just making his way into the penalty. He's forced to check back, pressure from Ferguson, and Denmark are forced back, and Scotland are doing their defensive job. And this time though, Isaacson goes to ground, he wins the free kick right on the right hand touchline, under pressure from Robertson.
Yeah, they just try to slow the game down a little bit now. Stevie Clark's not sure about making a change at a free kick like this, but he's going to do it, and Scotland are going to make that adaptation, and it'll be intriguing to see what they do just now.
Well, it may well be a stint at right back for Scotland once again for Kieran Tierney, because Aaron Hickey has made way. Hickey, who's had his injury problems over the last couple of years, but also this season, injured against Greece in the last international window, missed the game against Belarus, was given an hour on Saturday night. He's lasted 72 minutes tonight, but he is replaced by Kieran Tierney, who does look like he's slotted into that right back position. And he has played there before, Rachel, but it's not where we're used to seeing him.
No, it's not. But he is somebody who's got legs, he'll get forward, he's got a winning attitude, and he's a great player to have on the pitch. So we just have to make best use of the fact he's on there, and he's going to do his best to contribute, to find a way to try and get a goal in these last 20 minutes.
Scotland need a goal. One apiece it is. That is not enough for Scotland. They have the comfort blanket of a playoff already secured, but they want qualification. They want to know that they are there. They want to join those teams that are already in the hat for the World Cup in the summer. Lewis Ferguson just inside the centre circle, looking for the pass forward, but he's given it away to Højbjerg, who's won a lot of ball in that midfield for Denmark. And now they can come forward through Froholt on this left hand side. He's stopped in his tracks, but it's now Dorgu on the ball, and Højbjerg just drops a shoulder to get away from McTominay. Hjulmand out to this right hand side, Christensen forward to Isaacson, and again he faces up Andy Robertson. He gets the shot away, and it's had Craig Gordon worried, but it was always going wide, that shot from Isaacson.
You know, the Danes have played well, haven't they, since they went down to 10 men. You expect them to fall back, under a little bit of pressure. Actually, they've held the ball exceptionally well and made it very difficult for Scotland to get into dangerous positions. Scotland need to take chances now. When you get Robertson or Tierney further up now, they're almost playing as wing backs just now. You need to get the ball early to them. You can't wait for the perfect ball all the time. You have to get it when they're not set, and at the moment it's still a wee bit slow.
Yeah, it's still a little bit slow, and Denmark also know that it's not Scotland's thing to try and break down teams from intricate play, so it sort of favours them to sit back, because they know that that's not necessarily our strength. And then when they do pick us off, they're very, very intelligent and very ruthless, so we've got to be really careful. I know that fans want us to sort of take risks, but you've got to be half measured somewhat and try and play quickly.
A few groans coming from the Hampden Park crowd. They know the magnitude of this game, and they know what needs to be done, and there is frustration, particularly when free kicks are awarded like that one on Isaacson, going down under the pressure of Ferguson. The fans inside Hampden certainly didn't think that was a free kick, but it is given, and it does give Denmark another opportunity to fiddle with their socks and tie their laces and take their time over another set piece.
What was infuriating is, like 3 seconds before it, the same was done to Adams. He stayed on his feet, he didn't go to ground. That's what's infuriating, isn't it?
Hanley winning the ball well in front of Højlund, and now an opportunity to go forward. Space in front of Andy Robertson. Looks for the cross, but he's overhit it. Hugely overhit it. A left hand of apology goes up. It's over the back. It's a Denmark goal kick, and there's been yet another goal in Wales, Owain Gwynedd.
It's 6-1 to Wales. Party time here in Cardiff. Harry Wilson with another penalty, second of the game. A hat-trick for tonight's captain. Wales 6, North Macedonia 1.
Can you send some of that goal-scoring form to Hampden, please, Owain? Scotland, they are in desperate need of one here. 75 minutes on the clock. Scotland 1, Denmark 1. Denmark down to 10 men, but Scotland unable so far to capitalise on the one-man advantage that they have, as John McGinn tries to skip past Dorgu and go out for a throw-in, which the Danish bench are not happy to give back to Kieran Tierney in any sort of swift fashion, and Tierney throws it looking for Che Adams, but it's headed out by Vestergaard. Another throw-in to Scotland, now level with Denmark's penalty area on this right-hand side.
They're setting up for a long throw, but it's one of those ones where you should set up for it and you could maybe just play it short because nobody's ready for it.
I quite like those. I'm not sure Tierney has a decent throw, but I'm not sure it's the level of some of the ones we've seen recently in the Premier League, but we'll see now.
Well, in it goes, and McTominay looking to make first contact. It's fallen to Ferguson. There's shouts for a handball. The ball is in Kasper Schmeichel's hands. There was uncertainty in the Danish defence. Ferguson took the shot, it was blocked, it bobbled, there was a shout for a handball, it went into Schmeichel's hands, nothing given. We are playing on at Hampden Park as Tierney heads it into the path of Kenny McLean. He's got McTominay ahead of him, surrounded by red players, manages to find McLean again. Scotland trying to drive forward, no options for McLean, but he found McTominay, who's looking for Robertson. A boot comes in, puts it behind Scotland corner.
It's changed. It has changed. We can see momentum's building up for Scotland now. They're getting into the right positions now. The tactical switch is beginning to have a little bit of an effect now. They're getting down the right hand side and the left hand side. But play that ball to Robertson earlier.
I know, he's just bombing forward nice and early. I think just keep going.
Corner kick from the left hand side. In it comes, right footed, looking for the head. It's found the back of the net. Was there a touch? Was it straight from Lewis Ferguson's corner kick into the area? I don't think there was a touch on it. It may well be Ferguson, it may well be Shankland who got a touch. Nobody inside Hampden cares. All they care about is that ball is in the net. And once again Scotland are in front. And once again Scotland have won foot at the World Cup. Scotland 2, Denmark 1.
Well, I think it's Shankland who must get a touch on it. It's a low delivery, low fly, it's whipped. Denmark should really deal with it in that front area, but it comes all the way through. Shankland, who's absolutely on form with his club, he's not going to miss from there. It's absolutely bread and butter for him.
I was kind of half hoping he didn't get a touch on it in case he was offside, but I've seen another angle of it here and I don't think it's offside. So they're looking at it, they're still considering it. The Danish players are all over the referee here, but if this goal stands with Scotland 1-up,
goal is given.
They were just about to make two changes, the Danes there. They didn't get a chance to do it. The tide had just turned just 2 minutes before it.
Literally the long throw-in, wasn't it?
Anyway, Scotland have got this wrong. 12 minutes to go. Far too long for Scotland. Usually just make it in the last minute.
Well, Lawrence Shankland, what a reintroduction to the national team setup. He hasn't played for a year. He now got the slightest of touches on that Lewis Ferguson corner to potentially put Scotland back into the World Cup. 13 points for Scotland, 11 points for Denmark as things stand. What a huge closing 11 minutes or so we have here at Hampden. And the changes from Steve Clarke have certainly come to fruition. But Denmark need to get themselves level once again. They're looking for the opportunity down the right. Isaacson skips away, but his cross is poor. He sliced it over the top of the bar. I think it has gone out, but the flag didn't go up, so Kieran Tierney just blasts it down the field. Well, what a night. What a closing 10 minutes.
Well, it's not the time to sit back if you're Scotland. You've got to put pressure on. If you sit back, this is a very good Danish team. They can play the ball well, even against 10 men. This is going to be a torturous 10 minutes.
Suddenly my heart rate has gone back up to extreme levels.
Well, the fans are doing their bit as well. I mean, that's needed right now because a lot of tired players out there in red and in blue as well.
Rachel, you've played in a World Cup. Was getting there as nerve-wracking as watching this lot try to get there?
I mean, these last 10 minutes are going to be tough, and as players you've got to lean on the energy of the crowd and there's going to be moments we're going to have to ride our luck. We do have that extra body though, and hopefully that means we'll have a little extra in the legs.
Isaacson with the cross, it's a good one, but Tierney's there. It's come off. Christensen shouts for a handball. Dorgu though puts the loose ball into the net, and once again Denmark are level, and the referee has pointed towards the centre circle. The goal is given. Patrick Dorgu runs towards the red and white supporters of Denmark, who are on their feet twirling their scarves. It was poor from a Scotland perspective. It ricocheted, and when it fell to Dorgu, he had space to pick his spot, and he picked the bottom right hand corner, and Scotland have it all to do again. Scotland 2, Denmark 2.
Well, none of us were counting any chickens there beforehand, but the fact that Scotland fell so far back there so quickly, you can't afford to do that against a good side. Just seconds before we'd said, do that and you'll be in trouble, and it's natural for players to do that, but they got a little bit of luck. But maybe the Danes, the way that they played tonight, have deserved that little bit of a luck.
I mean, the bodies we have there, it's almost too many. The players want to almost join part of that back line, and we've just got sort of a lot of players in a row, and that just allows a few Danish bodies to be free.
And they're wasting every second of time now. The player going down now, injured, inverted commas, in the box, and of course as soon as he gets up they make a substitution. This game might not start for another 3 minutes.
It is Hoyland who is down, and he is now going to be replaced, and it will be Mika Biereth who makes his way onto the field for the remaining 8 minutes plus added time. So drama here at Hampden. It's not been dramatic, it's been more comfortable for Wales. Owain Gwyneth.
Yeah, it's plain sailing for Wales. 7-1. Potentially Isaac Davis with his goal on his debut. Broadhead with the goal. It's Wales 7, North Macedonia 1.
Well, it will be a double change for Denmark. Christian Norgård is also making his way onto the field once these changes get made. We are waiting here at the moment.
I said it would take about 4 minutes to do this. They're deliberately being very, but understandably, look, Scotland would probably do the same thing as well. But the referee, will he add plenty of time on at the end, because it's going to be important, and I suspect something one way or the other will happen important in injury time in this game.
But it's actually a changed substitution. Mika Biereth was stripped and ready to come on, the striker, but they have decided to bring Christian Norgård, the Arsenal holding midfielder, on instead. So a change, but now Scotland come forward. McGinn inside the area, under pressure, manages to win that corner for Scotland, and the crowd are up, the crowd are behind them. They are willing them to find another way, to find another goal. Denmark have shored things up defensively. They put another body into a more defensive position, sacrifice a striker. Scotland knock it into the area, it's headed clear, crowded box. Dorgu manages to get it clear to Tierney. Tierney tries to find McGinn, doesn't get there, does with the second opportunity. Now Kenny McLean, right edge, cross comes in, header from Adams, slips just wide of Kasper Schmeichel's right hand post. Another chance for Scotland, a chance for Shea Adams. He does well to get on the end of it, but just not enough purchase on the header, and it skips wide of the post. But Scotland still creating, Pat.
Yep, 6 players in the box there when it goes down the line. Scotland are absolutely going for it just now. I mean, there will be more chances. There's very, very little time left, but there will be more chances, and just impressed with the amount of effort that the players are putting in there. But looking at the fans around here, they're already lost in pain so far, but they still believe.
They believe in this side that have made their way back to major tournament football under Steve Clarke, 2 European championships back to back, but they haven't been to a World Cup for 27 years. Twice they've been ahead, twice they thought they might have done enough. There's the effort from Ferguson, blocked. It was a beautiful little layoff into his path, and he struck it well, but there was a red shirt in the way, and Scotland again looking to create. It is Scotland who have momentum. We're into the final 5 minutes of the 90. A groan from the Hampden Park crowd as Kieran Tierney knocks it back to his goalkeeper, but they have possession still. They continue to build. Kenny McLean over the halfway line, driving forward, looking for options. He's got Robertson to his left hand side. Robertson, early ball in, looking for Adams over the head of him, but it's fallen to McGinn. McGinn with the effort and whistles past the right hand post. So close from John McGinn. It is still Scotland 2, Denmark 2, but it's all over in Wales. Owain Gwynedd.
Yeah, Wales 7, North Macedonia 1. Wales professionally dispatched a poor North Macedonia side to secure second place in Group J in a home playoff tie. Harry Wilson with a hat-trick, Brooks, Johnson, James, Broadhead the scorers for Wales. It's another memorable night in Cardiff. Wales 7, North Macedonia 1.
Fantastic night in Cardiff, playoff secured for Wales. At the moment, that is where Scotland will also be heading unless they can find a goal in these remaining 4 minutes plus added on time. The draw for the playoffs is on Thursday at 11 o'clock in the morning, and then the draw for the World Cup is Friday the 5th of December. How many home nations will be there? England secured their place, Scotland trying to do the same here this evening. They need to find a goal though. It's Denmark on the ball. McKenna wins it though. It will be a Denmark throw in on that right hand side. And at what point, Pat, does the belief start to ebb away?
Do you know it doesn't with Scotland? It doesn't. It'll be when the final whistle goes. That's the only time. Absolutely nothing to lose now. Keep on going for it as often as you can. And even if it's a corner kick, a long ball, anything at all can give you that little half chance. There's very little time left, but Scotland have to remember we've got an extra player on the field there, and they have scored late goals before.
Denmark with the throw in on the right hand side, inside Scotland's half. Long it goes, flicked on, but Kenny McLean is there to pick the ball up and tries to pass it forward, deflect it. It will be a Scotland throw in. There's a lot more commentaries to come this week on Radio 5 Live. Women's Champions League is back in action. There's commentaries of Arsenal against Real Madrid on Wednesday and Chelsea-Barcelona on Thursday. Both of those on Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Kieran Tierney with a throw in on the halfway line on this right hand side. Finds Ferguson, gets it back from Tierney. Ferguson, Hampden Park crowd urging them forward. It's gone backwards at the moment, but now it goes forward with Robertson. He's got McTominay on that left touchline. Ferguson, McLean in the middle of the pitch. Got space to find a player. Finds Tierney on the right hand side. Cuts onto that left foot, puts a cross in. It's deep towards Robertson. Won't get to him though because the towering figure of Christensen is there to nod it clear. But still Scotland harry and chase and try to win the ball back, and Denmark are still in their defensive third trying to play it out. It goes long now, but McLean will gladly take that down on the chest and try and launch another Scotland attack. 2 minutes left of the 90. Scotland 1, Denmark 1. Scotland need a goal. They need the victory to book their place in the World Cup, or it will be the route of the playoffs. And Dorgu does well to win a throw in under pressure from McGinn. He then goes down, rolls around, taking his time, and now Denmark will make that change that they were going to make earlier. Are they? Mikael Biereth is once again stripped. Looked like he was going to come on.
Well, what they want to do is they want to kill time as soon as the referee goes over the 90. So he's waiting for that to happen if he possibly can. Dorgu rolling about, pretending he's more injured. And the game has been a wee bit stop-start, hasn't it? Since the equalising goal from the Danes.
It has. You have to think though, there's got to be at least, I would imagine, 8 minutes at least to be added on. VAR decisions, you know, you can waste time, but I think in some ways sometimes that for the Scotland players take incentive from that, because there's plenty time for a goal.
Well, Mika Biereth does make his way onto the field now, and he will be replacing Gustav Isaksson, who won that penalty that got Denmark level for the first time. He's been a very influential part of this Danish performance as the board goes up. 6 minutes added. 6 minutes lie between Scotland and a place in the World Cup.
That's miles off, by the way, because there's been so many substitutions, so many players gone down. There was the VAR decision.
The VAR took ages.
There was 4 minutes in the first half, and there was hardly any stoppages. Incredible.
Steve Clark got his arms out at the moment, asking why Denmark are allowed to take so long. I'm sure he will question why there is only 6 minutes, but it means that Scotland need to do something fast if they are to book their place at the World Cup. Hanley goes long, looking for Shankland under pressure from Anderson who wins the header. McLean though will nod it onto this left hand side to captain Andy Robertson, who launches it long, again looking for Shanklin to flick on, but again there is a towering central defender for Denmark there. It's Joachim Andersen once again. Denmark go long. Beereth beaten to it though by Scott McKenna. Up the line to Robertson, challenged, but Robertson keeps the ball. Does he win the throw-in? He doesn't. It's a Denmark throw-in.
Again, we're a long way away, but I'm not sure he got it right. And possibly the fifth Denmark player who's gone down with alleged cramp. I mean, the referee's fallen for a hook, line and sinker, hasn't he?
I mean, the referee's even stretched his
There's nothing
calf
wrong
for
with the
him.
referee.
I've never seen that in my life.
Absolute nonsense. Don't fall for it.
So it is Joachim Andersen now getting to his feet after that little bit of treatment from the referee.
Well, we're 1 minute 25 in. There's not been any football yet. It's just complete waste of time, but still a chance.
McTominay wins the header. Shanklin tries to find Shea Adams, wins the free kick. Adams bundled into by Højbjerg just outside the centre circle in Denmark's half, but an opportunity for Scotland to try and launch the ball into the area.
Yeah, it's an unusual angle though, so the referee in the last few times has given a free kick right away when it's gone in.
Headed clear, but it's fallen to Kenny McLean on this right hand side. He had the overlap from Tierney. He opted to put the ball in, but again headed clear to John McGinn, who's going to take aim. It's blocked. It will fall back to McGinn though. He's inside the Danish half, but deep near the halfway line. Kenny McLean launches this one in, and again there's a Danish head, but it's fallen to Tierney. Listen to Hampden Park. Scotland have done it again. The Scotland players run towards the coaching staff. 2 minutes of added time played, and Kieran Tierney with a curling left foot effort puts it past his club teammate Kasper Schmeichel, and Scotland once again have a foot in the World Cup. With minutes left on the clock, it is Scotland 3, Denmark 2, and Kieran Tierney gets a hug of all hugs from its manager Stevie Clarke.
Do you know what? We're talking about goals that go down in history. The first one that Scotland scored was incredible, but that one from Kieran Tierney is absolutely and utterly extraordinary as well. Curled in at the back post. Scotland player's gone down with a little bit of cramp just now, yeah, right. But honestly, Kieran Tierney this comes on and just sort of sums up Scotland. Amazing that he doesn't get a game every single time, but he will wait his time, he will come in, he will do the right thing, he'll be a complete pro, do what he needs to do for his country. And now Scotland are moments from the World Cup finals.
I can't believe it, but what a strike from Kieran Tierney, Rachel Corsie. He took it beautifully, absolutely beautifully, to curl it past Schmeichel, and Scotland see the ball out for a goal kick.
Well, I'm delighted there's only 6 minutes added, I have to say. But see, it's as instinct as Pat's saying, because when Kenny McLean plays the ball and he's deep on our right hand side, and Tierney's right on the touchline just about 20 yards further forward, but he knows they're probably going to win the header, the first header. We're doing well to compete, but he knows it's going to drop to the edge of the box, and he anticipates that, and he just arrives perfect time. It's a wonderful finish. Brilliant from Scotland, brilliant from everyone. Keep it alive, no fouls. Incredible.
I've just seen a Group C going up with Scotland at the top. Is that the first time we've seen that?
Things you love to see with
left.
2 minutes left on the clock. No Scotland, no party. Rings out around Hampden. And at the moment, World Cup 2026 will be a party that Scotland will be invited to. And Scott McKenna gets to the ball ahead of Vestergaard, and he will just launch it up the field. And now the Scotland fans are begging for the full-time whistle. They have possession. Shea Adams turns away, knocks it out, but it's blocked. And now Robertson plays it up the line. And there's Lawrence Shankland all on his own. Vestergaard now for company. He's going to keep the ball, slow it down. Scott McTominay on the left-hand touchline. He's got Shankland back again, and now Ferguson taking it towards the corner flag. Still Scotland are in possession. We have 30 seconds left of the added 6 minutes. Denmark win it back. Dorgu now going forward. He's got the run of Froholt down in front of him, but Grant Hanley, he will get there. He will take no chances. He will knock it out for a throw in. Down towards that corner flag.
Kasper Schmeichel wants to come up as well. I mean, he's mad for not to. He should throw everything at this. There's seconds to go.
Dorgu playing it in, but it's only towards the edge of the area. It comes in, but Tierney is there. He's able to clear. The man of the moment, Kieran Tierney, launches it. Anywhere will do. Schmeichel is over the halfway line on the right-hand touchline, crossing the ball in to the area. The goalkeeper. It's headed on. Hanley's there, heads it away. Dorgu down next to the corner flag, turns away from the challenge of McGinn into the left edge of the penalty area, flicks it up. Hanley gets a foot in. It's fallen to McGinn. McGinn takes his time, plays it calmly to Che Adams, who's driving across the halfway line. He's got Lawrence Shankland on that left hand side, but Che Adams is quite happy to hold on to the ball, to take it to the corner flag. The time is over. We are over the 6 minutes. It has gone out for a goal kick for Denmark. The Scotland players and everybody down in that technical area have their arms in the air. Blow the whistle, ref. Blow the whistle. Send Scotland to the World Cup. Denmark, though, with an opportunity to launch it long. McKenna is now there.
And he'll waste time now. McGinn's got the ball. He's going to hold it up. There's nobody moving for him. He needs some help.
7 minutes have been played of the added on 6. We had the goal in extra time, so there was always going to be a little bit more added, but how much? How much time will be given to Denmark to try and find the equaliser that will ensure they make it to the World Cup? They have the ball with Hjulmand, but he's under pressure, and now it's won back by Kenny McLean, who's got nobody between the halfway line. He's knocked it from the halfway line. It's over. Schmeichel! What a goal from Kenny McLean! Scotland are going to the World Cup! Scotland have done it! And Kenny McLean scores from the halfway line! And there is a pile of bodies in the corner flag to our right hand side. My goodness! Scotland 4, Denmark 2. Get your bags back.
I'm actually going to believe it now. I'm going to believe it now. I mean, what an incredible end to this game. Scotland are out at 90 minutes. By the way, the game's over. The referee's walked away. It's official. Scotland are there.
Scotland are going to the World Cup. 27 years since they last took part. This group of players, Steve Clarke's Tartan Army, they will be going back to a place that so many of these players have never even witnessed a Scotland men's national team at. I mean, Rachel Corsie, can you have and find the words?
Oh, it's hard. I almost feel like I've got tears in my eyes. It's incredible because I can actually remember the last World Cup. I can remember sitting watching the Collins penalty against Brazil, and I was naive at that point. I didn't realise when I was sitting watching that those things just don't happen very easily and very often for Scotland. And this group have found a way. Yes, we've got a little extra lifeline at the weekend, but the belief today that the application, every part of the game, we'd have planned for it all. We didn't expect to score early, but we've managed every minute. The setbacks, incredible.
So now you talk about that day in France and John Collins. I was doing the commentary for 5 Live that day, and like yourself, I didn't expect it to be such a long time. But looking at this group of players down there, they really deserve it. They've fought, they've battled, even when they've been up against it. That's why when we're saying near the end of the game when Scotland looked as if they're out, I didn't give up. I thought, yeah, this time we didn't think they was definitely out, because they keep on going. They've got such a brilliant attitude. And then like Tierney comes on, a player who would always pick, but doesn't get picked, but still comes on with the right attitude because of an amazing spirit here. And then Kenny McLean, I mean, the most unsung hero that you've got. He scored for the halfway line to put it on after overhead kick.
Amazing.
It is a classic. Write this for Hollywood and they'll say, no, we're not having it. We're not taking that. Be serious. It is fabulous. And the lovely thing is, you look around you right now, has a single person left this stadium? The place is mobbed. It's party. It's gorgeous for this country, for this nation. It's heavenly. Look at the players now.
They are running over to the supporters, and Hampden Park is literally bouncing under my feet. I can feel this old stadium moving under the supporters that are up on their feet, that are cheering their heroes. The images of Archie Gemmell dancing through the Dutch defence in 1978. Kenny Dalglish, Dennis Law, Billy Bremner of the squad of West Germany in 1974. The last group of Scotland players to play at a World Cup in 1998, walking out in their kilts ahead of the opening match against Brazil. Well, every single one of those players out on that pitch will be rewriting Scotland's history of the World Cup. 8 World Cups, and then a 27-year wait for World Cup number 9. But they have done it. They are there, and it's come in the most incredible fashion. An overhead kick of the highest calibre from Scott McTominay. Lawrence Shankland putting Scotland back in front, but again they were pegged back. And on 90 minutes, Scotland were going to the playoffs, but upset Kieran Tierney in the 3rd minute of added time with a beautiful curling effort. And then Kenny McLean with 8 extra minutes played from the halfway line over the head of Kasper Schmeichel, and Scotland score 4 incredible goals to put themselves into the World Cup. We'll be coming is being sung around Hampden Park, and Scotland are coming. They are going to the World Cup. It is finished at Hampden Park. Scotland 4, Denmark 2.
Hampden Park is a living, breathing entity. The floors are shaking. The walls must be shaking. If there was a roof, it would have lifted off. In front of us, the Scotland players, in a sea of saltires, are dancing and singing. There are hugs. There are looks of disbelief. All of a sudden, I feel like I'm at a national festival, and yeah, it says "will be coming." 26 on the big screens around Hampden Park. Scotland have done it. Scotland are going to a Men's World Cup for the first time since 1998, when they went to Bordeaux, Saint-Etienne and Paris. Now it's Boston, Seattle and Philly. That's what Scotland have got to look forward to next summer. Pat Nevin, find the words.
Oh, I cannot wait for already. This group of players, it's a kind of golden generation, and had they not got to a World Cup, it would have been heartbreaking for them as a group. Now, as an ex-player, you think about the players at this point in time, and for McTominay, for McGinn, everything he's given to this, for Robertson, the fabulous pro that he's been. By the way, Craig Gordon, 42, going to be at a World Cup. I mean, the stories are extraordinary around the whole thing, around how hard they've worked for it over this long period of time. The fans deserve it as well, because they have been a credit to this nation year after year, competition after competition, near failure after near failure. They're always there, and finally they get the rewards. So I'm delighted for every one of them too. A special word for the manager. I mean, wow, we've had some great managers in Scotland over the years that haven't been able to do this for us. And Stevie Clarke has come in and managed to get us to 3 competitions. And by the way, hold the back cage. Stevie Clarke smiling.
I don't believe it.
He is right in the middle of that bouncing huddle of players with the biggest grin on his face. He likes to be reserved. He will not be reserved tonight.
I've never seen. I've known this since he's 21. And I've never seen his face like that. I've seen him score goals for him, and he's never been like that. He is so delighted for himself, for his players, for his country. Oh, you're a legend, mate. You're an absolute legend, and I don't use that word frequently.
Well, I told you about the front page of the Daily Record this morning, which mentioned all of the great moments where Scotland got themselves to a World Cup. It said Joe in 73, Kenny in 77, Macker 85, McCoist 89, Gallagher 1997. The question, who will be our hero tonight at Hampden? Rachel Coursey, we have just witnessed 3 of the most iconic moments in Scottish football history in one night.
Oh, it was incredible. I am so glad that I have got the opportunity to be here, because this will be a memory for a lifetime for me. It's tough. It's been tough at times for many people with many more experiences than me to be a Scotland football fan. And we have a special thing. We have just so much belief. Every time we have that little bit of hope and we cling to it. And so often we don't quite find a way. The luck doesn't fall our way, or we missed that glorious chance. But today it all came together. So many players contributed. So many staff have contributed.
Can I take the airways just for 1 second? Can I ask a question for someone who's just walked in front of us? Roddy Forsyth, how are you feeling just now after that?
The first time I ever saw Scotland qualify was in 1973, but I have never in all that time seen anything like this. Anything. Whoa!
Oh, it couldn't be. It wasn't the same without Roddy Forsyth being here and being able to say that to us tonight. Thank you, Roddy. It means so much to us that you're here and looking great, mate.
Great point, great shout. Lovely to see Roddy here at Hampden Park. Well, rocking all over the world, you can see Mexico, Canada and the USA scrolling across the screens. We're going to be reacting to this, by the way, all the way through until Tony Livesey takes over at 10:30. We'll bring you some live interviews when we can. The thing is, Ailey, we were thinking, yeah, we'll get some live interviews. We'll play them out sometime between now and 10:30. They're still going to be on the pitch.
Well, I don't know how we're going to get any of them off the pitch. They've now all got white t-shirts on with USA, Canada, Mexico 26 written on the back, and on the front, we'll be coming. And they will indeed. And I have to say, Steve Clarke has come into this national team setup. He's not only brought success on the pitch, he's taken Scotland now to a third major tournament after back-to-back European championships, but he's galvanised the nation. You look inside Hampden Park this evening, you couldn't buy a ticket to this game. They were sold out so quickly, and it's been like this game after game after game. And I know the Scotland fans have at times got a little bit on the players' backs and on Steve Clarke's back, accused of maybe being a little bit too loyal, a little bit negative at times. But what he's done is he's created a belief in the Scotland national team that we have the right to go out and win games of football, and that has not been brought into this national team by any manager since Craig Brown took Scotland to the World Cup in France '98. And a huge credit must go to Steve Clarke and the players, though, who have bought into everything that he's done, everything that he's tried to create in the terms of a club mentality. The players who have come away to every single Scotland national team camp, friendlies, qualifiers, they've been there, and they have this reward again tonight. They have a major tournament once again to look forward to, but it's the pinnacle, it's the World Cup, and it feels, like Rachel said, so incredibly special to be here tonight. But to be on this journey over these last 6 years or so has been so magnificent, and the journey just gets better, because Pat, it's a World Cup next.
It's a World Cup, and there's hope in so many ways. There's some young players coming through as well. I talk about that golden generation. We hope that Ben Gannon Doak's injury's not too bad. We'll be back in plenty of time for the World Cup. Hickey coming through looking very, very special as well. You need everyone. You need every age. From 18 to 42, and I mean 42 for the goalkeeper. We need absolutely everyone here. And Stevie Clarke's managed to do that with a lot of people saying you're doing the wrong thing, you're getting it wrong. As you say, sticking by people like Kenny McLean, and then he does something like that at the end of the game. It's a magical time. Not just night, time for Scottish football.
At the full-time whistle, someone kissed me from behind the barriers here. I have not got the gentleman's name yet, but he was somewhere.
But you've got his number.
What a friendly bunch here.
I thought I'd better say it was a gentleman just in case my wife is listening. But they came flying over the top of the stands behind us, and the joy is absolutely unconfined. They're hanging off barriers. Everyone's very safe, I should say that, but it is just impossible to contain the joy. Just down below us now, I can see Ben Gannon-Doak is down there. I mean, what a turnaround. Here's a guy who had a thigh operation a few months ago, a guy who was down on the floor in tears pretty much with his hamstring, now celebrating with all of the rest of the players. The players in the t-shirts are just making their way out. Somebody's run onto the pitch away to the left-hand side and is being escorted away now by the police on that far side. But I mean, I just can't, Pat, quite get my head around those last few minutes of that football match.
You know, really early on before the game started, there was a word that I used about Scotland: chaos. Right, we do chaos. And Stevie Clark's learned how to do chaos, and it's a horrible thing to play against because you've no idea what's going to happen next. That I couldn't have dreamt or imagined it would be done with that elan in the end, with that style, with that brilliance of the standard of the goals. I mean, usually take all the notes down. When does Scotland score the third goal? You know, to make it 3-2. I mean, it's right at the death. It was
93rd minute.
Well, I got that wrong because I said it was going to be 94. Because I thought the only way Scotland do this is we're going to bring it out. And I said it actually on Radio 5 and Radio 4 this morning. It's going to happen, but it's going to happen in the 94. We're a minute out. But that's just us. And that's what we have that belief, because the team listen to the manager. They believe in the manager. They believe in each other. And boy, have they got some fight, as well as for.
I think just that, Pat knew when Shanklin scored that goal, we all sort of knew that's maybe just a bit much for us. And even when then Dorgo equalises, there's sort of that brief moment, you feel this sigh of the crowd, and then you sort of feel everyone go, okay, we'll go again. And that was exactly what we did.
We can get some reaction from pitch side. Kenny McLean, who scored from the halfway line. Kieran Tierney, who scored the third in stoppage time. Both speaking pitch side to the BBC.
Unbelievable scenes. What does it mean to you guys? You sent Scotland to the World Cup.
Self-explanatory, I think, isn't it? The atmosphere in here. Whole place deserves it. It's been a long time, obviously. We knew we had the ability to do it, but to do it obviously late on feels that wee bit more special. Just the finish. KT just says we scored the third best goal in the game and it was a belter. So listen, it's amazing. Obviously everybody's family up there. We've obviously spoke about it the last few days and we knew it was possible, but to go and actually achieve it, incredible, honestly, incredible.
Kieran, talk to me about your emotions right now.
Oh, it's mental, man. One of the best feelings ever. Unbelievable. This group, the staff, all the fans, everyone deserves it, man. And it's brilliant.
What was going through your mind as your shot found the back of the net?
I don't know. Pure, too good to be true kind of thing, honestly. I see it go in the back. I don't know what I've done for my celebration. And then Kenny goes and finishes it off, and that just takes all the pressure off. And what a night, honestly.
Kenny, talk to me about what was going through your mind as you prepared to take that shot.
I thought twice, to be honest, and the keeper didn't drop too quickly. I think somebody was coming to my left. I don't know if it was Fergie. But I took a pop. The referee says there was a minute to go, about a minute before, so I thought, why no? To see Cream in that inside post, it was best feeling I've had. It chops Norway.
Guys, you've made the nation so happy. Thank you so much.
Good, everybody.
Nice one, brilliant.
Well, I mean, there was disbelief about those two. There's still disbelief all around Hampden Park. I mean, at some point in the next few minutes we'll talk about some of the key individuals here, because we have to talk about the icon that Scott McTominay has become over the course of the last 90 minutes. Icon level is the level that he's at now after that. But a lot of his teammates as well. There was a man just to our left hand side who's just walked away from Hampden with tears in his eyes, with the lion rampant on the flag wrapped around his shoulders. Down pitch side, there's Lyndon Dykes, who's just coming off now. He's got a sole tyre wrapped around him as well. And all of a sudden the pitch is empty, and all of a sudden these Scottish fans, just full of, I think, disbelief, start to make their way out of this stadium, and now they can dream, now they can think about the draw at the start of next month. All these moments in the build-up to a World Cup, Rachel, that Scotland fans will have dreaded before, will have, oh, here comes the draw again. Oh, it's the warm-up, oh, it's the first match. Not this time.
No, and I've lived that, and you're absolutely right, Steve, there's all those moments, and it's brutal. It's brutal as a player, but what we can now just sit and embrace and enjoy every single one of those moments to come, enjoy the build-up, embrace it all. For the players, there's still an element of anxiety because you've got to go and try and give your best for the second part of the season, and you've got to keep in great shape, but you got to not overdo it and get injured. And I know that's not a thought the players will have for right now, it's for down the line, but that's just a little something that plays in the back of your mind. You want to make sure you're on that plane.
You know what, that image on the programme for the match tonight, I'm just going to pick it up, it's like this beautiful painting of Kenny Dalglish celebrating, and it's the pose he adopted, it's the celebration from the goal that he scored at Anfield, which took Scotland to the World Cup back in 1977 for the World Cup in 1978. The reason I mention it, Ailey, is if you fast forward 30 years, right, you're going to see that Scott McTominay moment. You're going to see the pose in the air. That is what we are talking about, isn't it, tonight? You could pick 5 other images if you wanted.
How long ago does that Scott McTominay goal feel right now? But what a goal, what a moment. And like you say, I mean, you talked about Bellingham's goal and that overhead kick, likened it to it, and that's become an image that we've seen made into logos, made into a real iconic image of English football in this current generation. Scott McTominay, that is a goal that will go down in history. I mean, not just 30 years. This will be played on a loop for the next, I don't know how many years, because that's something that, I mean, I just can't believe Scotland scored a goal like that. It was utterly sensational.
Yeah, and by the way, I love a DJ. Send back a letter from America. They're pretty clever to me have an answer for everything for Scotland, don't they? No, but there's so many things that when we sit down and think about it and be a little bit calm about it, we almost won't believe it happened the way it happened tonight. Iconic images. I've got a load here in my mind already. Stevie Clark smiled there. When we all saw that smile, we just went, what? And it's that because all the players are around him, and it's one of those ones if you catch the right photograph there. So tomorrow, for days, for weeks, for months, we're going to be able to celebrate that and love it. And it is just joyous that for once Scotland don't have to worry about playoffs. We've got there. And
well, you made me promise not to mention them, so I didn't.
Well, exactly, because you kind of jinx it slightly. And also, you know, because we're always at the end say, oh, well, we never made it. And, yeah, but I'll be honest with you, there was one point in the commentary, I think, Ailey, you said to us, when do we give up? And I was not having it. I'm saying, well, not until the final whistle, because that's Scotland, that's what we're like.
But that's what we're like now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, now. Yeah.
After all the years of hurt, the phrase, it's the hope that kills you, is sort of synonymous with Scotland for so long. But I feel this generation, now we can keep believing to that final whistle.
Well, admit I didn't think we'd get 2.
And 1 from the halfway line.
I know. Again, every time you add something to it, it just feels astonishing. And it's going to be a glow about this city, about this country, about everybody who cares about the football. There's something that a lot of people don't know about Scotland. We're a football mad country up here. And we argue that we're madder than everyone else for it. The reason being, per capita, more people go to watch Scottish football than any other nation in Europe, per capita. So we love this. And to be out of this main competition, the World Cup, for so many years, it's been physically painful for us. But we're there now. We can breathe again. It is just phenomenal.
We talked before the game, Rach, and asked the question about when was the last time Scotland had a player with the kind of attacking inspiration of Scott McTominay, and we came back to James McFadden, who also scored an incredibly famous goal for Scotland, albeit in the end they didn't get to that tournament when he scored from about 30 yards in France.
Well, that image is still the image that Scotland used. So
until now.
I think he might have to pass it over to Scott McTominay now.
He's probably, well, he is here, James, isn't he? I think he'll probably accept it.
No, he'll more than that be happy, because Fadi's such a phenomenal. Like most of the players that play for your country, the ones that turn up and don't make excuses not to come when they don't fancy it. And that was Fadi as well. He was one of them as well. He'll be happy to pass that.
I remember at the last game, the Greece game, I was sat in between Neil McCann and Scott Brown as well, two players who gave a lot for their country too. And we were sitting there. Yes, we were here for BBC, but we were sitting there as fans. There's like a genuinity through the game. They were both off their seat at times, shouting on at the ref, and there is a genuineness to that. And it's players who've been involved know how much it means to them. They know how much it means to the country, and the fact it's incredible. And as you say, all the people downstairs as part of the media team will be delighted. Former players, people who've done this for a very long time. It's a commitment to be a Scotland fan, and it's an amazing feeling to be one tonight.
That is a wonderful way to phrase it. A commitment to be a Scotland fan. I am certain that all of the tens of thousands leaving Hampden Park tonight will be nodding along as they tune back into their radios to listen to the reaction to this extraordinary night. We're going to hear from Andy Robertson shortly. I just want to do one more pat on Scott McTominay. Did it just need a generational, iconic talent to get Scotland into a position like this to get over the line? Yeah, but it's been a while. I mentioned I can't ignore McGinn in this point in time. I can't ignore what Robertson's done over the period of time. Had difficult moments tonight, but when he's still been asked the question later on in the game, he's having it down that left line. He's absolutely brilliant, and Tierney similarly as well. So yeah, the moment, yeah, it's Scott. Yeah, of course it is Scott McTominay. But I look through that and I think of youngsters watching that group. They look like gods. You look back in years and think, what, you mean your goalie was 42? you look back and it won't make much sense. It was so mad. But yeah, Scott McTominay at this moment, yes, it's fantastic. And I'm so happy for him, because he almost epitomises alongside McGinn what it is to be a Scotland player. You can be brilliant, but boy, do you need to work for it.
I think those two as well, they do carry the sort of the nation in the way that you speak about, Steve, in that they are the two that Steve Clarke has relied on more than any other player since he's come into the national team. They have played the most, and they have scored the most goals, and they have been the most influential. But when you look at players like Shea Adams, Lyndon Dykes, I mean Andy Robertson, we can't count him out. The captain's role that he's taken on, how he's driven the standards on and off the pitch. But the Kieran Tierney's playing through pain at times, and you just look at the number of players who've come in, and there's been players like Grant Hanley not playing for his club before the move back up to Scotland to Hibernian, not playing but coming in and putting his body on the line for Scotland and doing a job. And Steve Clarke has never doubted the players that maybe aren't playing for their club as much, because he knows what they will bring to this Scotland setup, and not one single player ever shirks a responsibility. They all come in and they all do their job. And while it is Scott McTominay and John McGinn who might be the ones that sort of stand slightly above the others in terms of their role within the team and their front facing, and Andy Robertson as the captain, I just think what Steve Clarke has built is a squad and a group of players, and it's not down to one individual. Yes, there are a few that are very, very special, but this is a collective, and it's a collective achievement over the last 6 years to make it to 3 major tournaments.
Let's hear from the captain then, shall we? Andy Robertson speaking to Kelly Cates.
Never say die. We just keep going right to the end, and one of the craziest games of football. We certainly put the country through it, but I'm sure it'll be all worth it. We're going to the World Cup, and I can't believe it.
Obviously, I'm not going to ask you to rank your achievements, because you've been involved in huge games, in Champions League finals, in huge games for your club. So I'm not going to ask you to compare them in terms of ranking them, but is it different? Is doing it for your country, does it feel different?
Different. I think I've hit it well, but today I've been in bits. I know that the age I'm at and everything, this could be my last chance at World Cup. I couldn't get my mate Diogo Jota out of my head today. We spoke so much together about the World Cup. When he missed out in Qatar because of injury, I missed out. But Scotland never went, and we always discussed what it'd be like going to this World Cup, and I know he'll be somewhere smiling over me today, and I just couldn't get him out of my head the whole day, so I was in a bit of trouble in my room earlier, but
watching you, what a cup, son, in the summer.
I know, but like I said, I think I hit it well off the boys, and I'm just so glad it's ended up this way.
And he'd be so proud of your achievement. You're going to the World Cup finals.
Yeah, can't wait to get back down to Liverpool and share a red wine with your dad. He always spoke about World Cups, but look, honestly, this group of boys, this group of staff, honestly, it's the best group I've ever been involved in, and the manager's speech before the game was unbelievable in the hotel.
Give us a flavour of that, without breaking any confidences. Give us an idea of what Steve Clarke was saying.
Look, he just said, he obviously went through the big moments we've had. Serbia was one of the best nights of our life when the world was in a dead strange place. Ukraine was one of the toughest here, getting beat, then obviously qualifying for the Euros. He couldn't quite remember, we were in Wonder Bar, but I'll tell him that nightclub now. And then he said, let's make it another one. And he kind of went into a little bit about his life and things like that, and honestly the lads I think we were quite emotional in that moment, so to do it for him, to do it for all the staff, all their families, honestly it'll go down as one of the greatest nights of my life.
That's Andy Robertson with Kelly Kate. I mean, Rachel, powerful, poignant, open, vulnerable. That's your captain.
Absolutely, and even I think the way he speaks about just Steve Clarke telling that story, there's a bigger picture there, because even Steve Clarke at the end of the game and amongst the players, you see that when teams and national teams or club teams have success, and the manager and coaching staff are around the players, and you always get a feel. You know when there's a handshake or a high five, and you know when there's an emotional connection there, and you know when it's a formality. You can tell with the team there is such an incredible connection and a deep connection with so many players, that they've built this culture whereby even the young players that maybe come in and don't have as much experience, there's some young guys come in, Andy Irving, Connor Barron, who've had youth experience but not had loads of experience in the senior team. They know what's expected, they know how to conduct themselves, they know how to be a part to make sure you give absolutely everything, and you give yourself the opportunity of moments like what we've had tonight, and it's honestly been sensational.
I've got to say, Pat, I think of all the players in this Scotland team, Andy Robertson is just the one that I sort of want to do the most, if that makes sense. I kind of want the best for him, and you hear powerful interviews like that, but equally when he gave the penalty away, there was a big part of me that thought, if they don't qualify now, Andy Robertson is going to feel a certain way that he doesn't deserve to feel.
Yeah, he would possibly feel that. I don't think the fans would feel that about him, because he is so deeply loved in Scotland. But if you just come back to those interviews, Scots are famously rubbish at emotion. We're beginning to show it a little bit there. Well, the guys are anyway. And it is beautiful to see that. And it would have been horrible. Football's like that. It can be horrible, it can be hurtful, it can be painful. And it's kind of why we absolutely love it, because in the midst of an evening tonight, we've kind of shared and seen some incredible highs, some horrifying lows, some fears, and some total and utter joy that you hardly ever see at any other point in your life. And for us, and for Scottish people, and anybody who was in here, and my phone's gone mad, I've never seen that number of honestly, it's running out of figures, the many messages we've got here, and it's just pure and utter joy, and it's lovely for a number of things. But do you know what the real joy is for me? It's just the sharing of it that we've waited so long for. A kind of dam has burst tonight for Scotland, and you kind of feel it all around. I mean, you're not up here as much as we are, but you must be able to feel that. It's just flying over this stadium and coming over it, and it'll be over the entirety of the country, and it's fabulously, beautifully, and wonderfully and joyously emotional.
It is. I can't really add much to that, Pat. I mean, we've spoken about how big football is in Scotland, how well it's supported, and how much people go out and support their teams from the top level of the game right down through to the the junior game, and we're seeing more at the women's game, and people in Scotland love football, but they also love their country. And so when you get to combine the two, and you get to go abroad, and you get to go to these nations, and you get to showcase the culture of Scotland, the kilts and the tartan army, and the tammies and the pipes, and everything that Scottish people take a real pride in being, the party atmosphere and the joy and the friendliness and supporting your team, and it just, when it all comes together, it's so very special. And our generation, Rachel, my generation, have been starved of it really for a long time, and we saw when Scotland qualified for the Women's World Cup in 2019 in Nice. It was incredible, the kilts that were walking around the old town of Nice, because it was an opportunity to support your country at a World Cup. And it wasn't the men's team, it was the women's team, and the women's team has grown in Scotland, but at that moment in time it wasn't as well supported as it is now. But that just stirred the nation once again, and Scotland outnumbered England fans in Nice, and Rachel will tell you, because she was on the pitch and you could hear them all the way through the game, and that was a real watershed moment, I think, for the women's game. But also it was just that joy of being back at a World Cup and being back in that atmosphere, and the Scotland fans absolutely embraced it. And then there was the back-to-back European Championships. But this is the one for the men's team that has been the one that Scotland fans want. They want to be back at the World Cup. They want to be surrounded by all these nations from right across the globe, and they want Scotland to be part of it, and they want their culture to be part of it, and they want the songs and the dancing and everything to be there when that curtain raises in the USA, Canada, Mexico. And it's difficult to explain, but it's just such a special thing for a Scottish football fan to see their country at a World Cup.
You're talking about outnumbering England fans there. I think Scots outnumbered Germans in Germany there. There was so many. It was extraordinary, and it's going to be the same. You know, the amount of Scots. And the diaspora is huge around the world as well, and certainly in the Americas it is. But the numbers that will go over there. And the song they sing here, No Scotland, No Party, that's actually very important for the Scots to say, it's going to be better with us, because we're going to have a real party and you're going to join us. And anyone who spent any time in Germany, which is a real classic version of it, we didn't play that well, but boy did we party well. And I don't mean the players, I mean the supporters, but also did we show the culture up so well. And the amount of German tourists that started coming over to Scotland after that, because they fell in love with the people in the country. So that's what Scotland wants to share. So it's bigger than just the actual football. It's actually much more than that. It's being part of a world that we helped to start, that we've been left behind in, and we're kind of back again. It's great.
I think, Rach, whichever part of this World Cup, and it might be more than one country, who knows, but whether it's Canada, whether it's Mexico, whether it's the USA, whichever small towns are suddenly full of Scotland fans because they're staying there on the outskirts of a big city, whichever country it's in, the experience will be richer there for the presence of Scotland.
Oh, absolutely. And Erin Cuthbert's just talking about messages. Erin Cuthbert's just messaged me saying get your flights booked. So it's like, if she wants me to be there, I'm going to do what Erin says. But yeah, we'll travel in absolute hundreds of thousands, and there's lots of Scottish. I obviously spent 7 years in the US. There's, wherever you go, you come across people that have a connection or are Scottish, and they always talk to you about football. And it's going to be wonderful.
We can get some more reaction from pitchside as well. We can hear from John McGinn, who's been talking about that amazing goal from Kenny McLean from the halfway line.
I've played with Kenny for years at St Mirren. To see that ball hit the net for him was like a feeling. Got in here. I can't even explain, to be honest. Kenny's been criticised many times in a Scotland jersey, sometimes not fairly, but he came in tonight in difficult circumstances and I thought he was outstanding. I thought we were pretty rubbish, to be honest, but who cares? I thought Denmark, even 10 men, they moved the ball a bit better, they looked more assured, but we've had a lot of trauma as a Scotland team, a lot of hits, but tonight to go over the line was such an amazing feeling.
John, it feels like it's a really emotional win for everybody.
Yeah.
How much has that been building up?
It has, the Gaffer's team talk was exceptional before we left the hotel. What we've been through together as players and as staff has been outstanding. it's a privilege every time we meet up. It's just humble guys want to do well for our country, and you can see it on the pitch. We left absolutely everything out there, and a few wonder goals, but we're going to a World Cup, and I just can't believe it.
John, tell us, because the emotion at the end is just supercharged your away. Tell us what it's like on the pitch when you're up. We're up one, we're pegged back, we're up again, we're pegged back. How are you having to go again, sit off, go again? What's the emotional charge like at that point in time?
It's horrible, absolutely horrible, because I've hit the shot and I thought, oh, it's in. I thought it's in, probably should have passed it. But then you get the hit. I thought a blocked dog is shot, he slides it in, you think that's it again. Glorious failure. You think it's us again, another blow. You think about the playoffs. I was thinking about the playoffs at 91st minute. I was thinking about it. I thought, oh no again. But my shot was actually going in, and it hit Granty's backside. But then for KT,
it's not easy to miss, to be fair, is it?
What a strike for KT, and just the feeling. I will never ever feel like that in a football park again.
We were all. I mean, you'll probably see footage of us later on in some sort of social media platform where we're going off our head. Except Peter, obviously. But when Kieran's finding the back of the net, is there that moment? Is there any thought like just saying, right, we're there now, that it's done? How do you then switch back on when the ref tells you there's actually another minute to go when it's done?
He wasn't making his mind up. I asked him how long he was adding. He said 3 or 4, and then he realised how long all the checks took. Then he said 6. Then after we scored, they said there's 5 minutes, and I thought, I can't handle this. I couldn't move again. Honestly, I couldn't. When the ball came down the right side, I was gubbed. But the effort we put in,
amazing.
Denmark are a really good team. Let's not forget that. But just for us as a country, let's try and build on it. We need to improve, and we need to do better in this major tournament.
It's an amazing achievement.
But we don't need to look at the performance, we just need to look at the result. John, you're going to the World Cup finals.
I know, absolutely unbelievable, brilliant. Can't
well
believe
done,
it.
Just superb.
Have an amazing time. Whether it's the USA, Canada, Mexico, you won't care.
Well, I'm drugs test, it's always me.
Oh yeah, is that why you've got to go in?
I must have a look at it.
Thanks very much.
What a brilliant interview that is. Rach, do you know what strikes me about that? And it's been true of all the interviews that we've been hearing, is that, you know, these guys are professional footballers and they get interviewed all the time. And I think sometimes in post-match interviews, and I'm sure it was the same for you guys, there almost is like a different persona that comes on. They just sound like they're 10-year-old kids again who love Scotland. Do you know what I mean? It's amazing.
And I think there is a feeling of that when you come to Scotland camp or Scotland environment. It's home, and all these players, you know, one of the biggest reasons why a lot of them love football is because they grew up like all of us as football fans. They loved playing the game, and they're just fortunate that they've honed their skills and they're exceptionally good at it, and we're a wonderful group of players at the moment. But that feeling of being at home is very special, and I think when you have a great group, as we've touched on many times, a well-connected group, that is just something that gives you that extra edge in the moments when you need it. And some people may say we're a little fortunate tonight because it felt like a lot of those really epic moments that we needed all came in one night, but we've certainly loved it, and we deserve to win tonight. I think some people might say we rode our luck at times, but for me, we deserve to win. We played the game.
Was it almost, Pat, like a sort of a dreamscape of the Scottish football experience? Because you heard the guy saying there the number of here we go again moments over and over again going through their minds.
But we've had a few of them under Stevie Clarke. No, once in a lifetime moments, and I had a bunch of them. That's not supposed to happen. One of the interviews we got earlier on mentioned that that's better than the Norway game. Now the game in Norway where Scotland won 2-0 or 2-1 late on in the game, and you just thought, I actually didn't think I would ever see something bigger than better than that with the comeback in the last minutes at Scotland. And since then I've always kind of believed the capabilities of doing things, and not just the ability but the managers knowing what to put in place for it to happen. But what I'm listening to all the way through then is every single player. That I loved what you said there about the childlike wonder of what they were talking. The accents have gone. We're straight back on the streets again. we've lost all efforts to be understandable, and we're all exactly the same. But every player who's spoken, that we've spoken to tonight, listened to tonight, I've loved the line from him. I mean, Kieran Tierney's line, you ask him what it's like, he goes, it's mental, man. Honestly, it's mental, man. And what was it, Robbo, he said, never say die, never say die. And the excitement comes through in these moments, but they actually mean something. You know, that is never, ever, ever disbelieve it. And you feel as if you can't run, then you look around at all the other guys who can't run, but they're running, so you do it. And it's a very, very special moment, a very, very special team. And I'm just so happy for them all. And I'm not going to say we were the better team tonight, absolutely not. But not always the best team in every game wins. Sometimes a team that wants it, that needs it, they're the ones that win.
Did Scotland need it then? Is that what it was? That's how it feels?
Yeah, we've needed it for a long, 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 long time. It's been torture, and it's been painful for the entire nation, also for all the players that have missed out in that opportunity. You talk about great players over the years that, you know, Georgie Best never went to a World Cup. There are other players you mentioned, but a lot of players down there you think, no, that shouldn't happen. You should get a chance, and they're going to get a chance now. So for them, yeah, I'm delighted for them.
Some of them needed it because it really probably is their last opportunity. Andy Robertson, 31. I mean, Craig Gordon definitely is. I mean, he might still be going. Might still be going at 50. Who knows? But Andy Robertson, 31 years old. Grant Hanley, 33. John McGinn, 31. Yeah. You know, there's players in there. Kenny McLean, 33. Yeah, I mean, there's players in there who were looking at this being the last opportunity to experience something so very, very special. And that probably plays into it. And all their experiences, we heard Andy Robertson, the lovely words he had for Diogo Jota and how much he was on his mind today. All these players will have experiences. They'll have people at the back of their mind. They'll have something that will make them go that extra little mile. And then you add into that it's now or never for these players. And they've done it. And they will be there.
Couple of quick parish notices before I forget. Obviously, we've been entirely focused on the melodrama of Hampden Park. Wales in the end won 7-1 against North Macedonia, so that's second place in the group for them. Means they will get a home playoff next March. Tony Livesey's going to be with you very, very shortly. More reaction. He's going to speak to Scotland fans. You'll be hearing from Steve Clarke on Tony's programme as well. Pat, I just want to give you the final word here, and I don't know what the answer to this question is going to be, but of the many, many great things you have given us on 5 Live over the years, and access to the Scottish vernacular, and access to words we'd never heard before, like stramash, when everything goes a bit crazy on the pitch. Is there a word for this?
Look, you put me on the spot, but I can only say it's pure dead brilliant, man.
That'll do. Guys, thank you so much. Absolutely amazing. Pat Nevin, Ailey Barber, Rachel Coursey. Good Lord, what a night. The mowers are on down pitch side here at Hampden Park. It looks like any pitch after any night, but this wasn't any night. This was the night. This was a historic night for Scotland. And one more time with feeling, Scotland fans, your wait is over.
The dreams and hopes of a nation rest on the players making their way out of the tunnel.
Scotland are on the brink of history.
Gannon Doak right into the penalty area, chops it onto that left foot. Crossing, overhead kick. That is sensational from Scott McTominay.
That is the best goal I've ever seen live, I think.
Hoyland against Gordon. Denmark level.
Looking for the head. It's out the back of the net.
Storgood 2-2.
But it's fallen to Tierney. Listen to Hampden Park.
They've given it away.
Shoot.
Here's McLean. He's going to shoot.
Is that good?